me a moment here to get the microphone all set up. How is everyone doing? Let's check a few things here. Testing 274. Testing 274. Yes, we got it. All right, I think we're looking pretty good here. Let's go ahead and let's see. Bring back our OBS stuff here real quick. I guess one thing we're going to do here is welcome everybody in with a good meridian. See. Streaming live on YouTube every 3 hours every day at this time. Come join the stream for your chance to win DFK NFTs. DeFi Kingdoms. All right. How is everybody doing? Sardo Fritz, welcome on into chat. How are you today? What is new with you? You been checking out anything new in DeFi Kingdoms? Anything on the internet? Any global news? Any crypto news? What should we be looking at today? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off by looking at some Discord messages here. First thing I want to look at is DeFi Kingdoms. We've already looked at the announcements earlier today, and we noticed that some people might have gotten caught up. I'm pretty sure that there was a reset of this 25 Stampot giveaway from yesterday. I'm pretty sure. So if you are following my stream, you probably want to go and check out again if you still have a blue circle around your vote right there, or your entry. I noticed that I'm 99% sure that when I jumped in on this yesterday evening and then looked back maybe this morning or sometime later, that it had taken away my vote for this. So everybody make sure to check for yourselves and make sure you're still in that giveaway here. Potatoes, howdy, how are you doing, Potatoes? Anything new with you? Sardo says, I reduced my crystal bag in favor of Jewel since I was way low on it. You know, something else that I guess we could point out here. We did look at the charts a little earlier this morning, but let's take a look at them again right now very briefly. If we do a comparison of Jewel to Crystal, so this is, let's invert that pair also. So this is Jewel compared to Crystal over the last little bit of time here. And look at what we've got. If we zoom out to some amount of time, here on the 13th and 14th of October, we saw this dramatic rise from this dip right here. In fact, if we zoom out even more, well, I guess we can't zoom out too much more than that at the moment in this tool right here. But we had a pretty steep downturn in Jewel for many weeks before that. And then right around here, I think we might have had a reversal around the 13th of October or so, 13th, 14th of October. We had a major spike in the change of the Jewel value as compared to Crystal. And we're not looking at USD values here, right? And so that was very interesting. And then over the last few days, we've had somewhat flat right in here. But I do seem to think it's creeping up a little bit. So, Sardo, I think it is people like you that are getting in and doing some of these really big buys. It's all adding up here, right? This kind of looks a little bit like a Batman figure. Call out to Batman. Time to get into Jewel. Dump your crystal. Not financial advice, of course, but I do agree that that's probably what's happening every day. I think y'all have been noticing that on my streams, every day we are generally selling out our crystal for Jewel in our daily batches, right? Crystal to Jewel on a daily basis there. I think that's going to be good. In fact, I've considered doing something a little bit more drastic. I think we're getting close to the point where I'm wondering if for a small amount of time, and again, I don't know dates on this kind of stuff, so I don't know if C-Jewel is coming out in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Let's see, if it's coming out in 3 weeks, if I'm gaining in this account, if I'm gaining about 50 crystal a day times 21 days or 3 weeks, I could be losing out on 1,000 crystal if I were to pull all of my liquidity pool out. Yeah, I'm actually considering something that dramatic. If I pull out $1,700 of liquidity, which is not a ton of money, but it is something, and I move all of that into Jewel, I would be losing out 1,000 crystal over the next 3 weeks. If we multiply that by right now, what, 25 cents? I'd be losing out on 262 US dollars of value. Let's take a quick look back here and let's compare crystal with USD. So it's actually not even 25 cents. It's more like 23 cents right now, right? I don't know if that makes a big difference. 1,050 crystal times 23 cents, $241. So if I did liquidate my liquidity pools, just dump them, and by liquidity pools, I mean this money right here, about $1,700. If we get out of Crystal ETH, Crystal BTC, Crystal USDC, and Crystal Avox, get out of those for a small amount of time, put all of that value into C-Jewel, or get it into Jewel, really, in preparation to get all of that into C-Jewel. And then, how long would it be before our rewards from C-Jewel could get back in here and pump up these values again? So let's think about that a little bit. If we have 1,050 crystal, right? Let's come over here. The easiest way for me to do that kind of math is just come over into the marketplace. Super easy to do. And just say, all right, well, let's say that we've got 1,050 crystal. And we were trying to convert that into Jewel. That would be 1,584 Jewel is what we could potentially lose over the next 3 weeks if it takes 3 weeks for C-Jewel to come out and I pull myself all the way out of liquidity. It also means that we're looking at about $247 for that. Now, the difference is if we had 2,000 USD of value, or 1,700, let's just say 1,700. We had 1,700 USD of value, and we put that into C-Jewel, and that goes up by 20%, let's say. If it just goes up by 10%, or I'm sorry, yeah, if that goes up by 10%, then we're talking about $170 of gain there. So that's not quite the same thing, is it? 1,050 times 23 cents. It's only $241. So we'd have to go up a little bit more than that. But if we went up by about 15%, so then the question is, do we think C-Jewel, or Jewel itself, maybe just plain Jewel, is going to rise by 15% or 20%? Let's just kind of take that into consideration. So if Jewel right now is sitting at about 15, let's say 16 cents, just to be a little bit more generous. So we've got 0.16 times 1.2. So do we think that Jewel could go from 16 cents to 19 cents? Let's see, 19 cents is right here. If Jewel could spike to 19 cents from where it's at now, that would be a 20% gain, which would outperform the cost of pulling out from the liquidity pools for 3 weeks. All right, is my math good on that? If Jewel can get above 19 cents, like have a spike up to 19 cents, it hasn't been up that high since September the 17th, right? If we pull back further, 19 cents is still way down here. So looking at this line right here, Jewel has not been above 19 cents much. And I don't even think that it's going to stay above 19 cents if it spikes that high. But if we could get a spike up to 19 cents over the next 3 weeks, and we were to get that 20% rise real quick, I could pull out some gains, right? And as long as I pulled out about $240 worth of value, which would be about 20 cents on the $1,700, right? So if I've got 1,700 US dollars times 20%, it's $340. So if the value in the liquidity pool that I have staked in C-Jewel goes to Jewel, and Jewel spikes to 19 cents, a 20% gain, then that $1,700 will have gained 340, and that beats out the daily growth that I would have had from keeping that liquidity pool for the 21 days. That's what my math is looking like. Do I think it's going to do that? Right here at 19 cents. I'm going to say very likely. I'm going to say very likely. And having said very likely, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that. We're going to empty out our liquidity pools today and put that into Jewel. And as long as Jewel, or when Jewel gets to 19 cents, we're going to do profit. We're going to take some profits. And we're looking at taking about $250 worth of profit on a $1,700 investment there. And then that will equal out what I would have gained if I just would have kept it in the liquidity pool. I think that is what I'm going to do. Let's see here. Simply moved it into other pools, a bit less, but still keep most of my daily crystal. Yeah. Potato says, yeah, thanks for the heads up. Had to recast also. Yep, got to recast your vote. So very good. Potatoes, glad that we were able to save you. Again, like more people to check in on that. What we're talking about, if you had missed it, is the giveaway. They reset this for some reason yesterday. So make sure that you're still got your vote cast, your entry submitted, because they had reset that from the other day. Don't want y'all missing out on that. All right, well, let's get started with this, because this is time of the essence. I don't think that I've got a lot of viewers watching me right now, but Jewel is going up right as we speak. And if it goes up too much too soon, and if people watch this video later, I think that that is going to make a significant difference. So let's do it. Let's do it. That is a bad thing about me streaming, by the way. Not now, since there's not a lot of people watching, but can you imagine 1,000 people watching me? And even though I say it's not financial advice, they see me moving around some money. I do think that sometimes people say, oh yeah, that sounds reasonable. He's got some reasonable things to say. I think that might be good. I'm going to do the same thing. Or maybe even if it doesn't sound reasonable, but you're thinking somebody of influence, which I don't think I'm much of an influencer at the moment, but once somebody does have some influence, and I would say perhaps even Crypto Grady is enough of an influencer or somebody like that, that if he were to say he would do something, then that might move the market a little bit. If enough people get the idea that, oh, that's a good idea, we want to do that too. So let's go ahead and pull out from all of those liquidity pools right now. So we're going to go over to the gardens. We're risking quite a bit here, I guess. We're risking $240 of value, probably, over a 3-week period of time. If I just leave this stuff in the garden, we're risking 50 crystal a day for 3 weeks, if I am making a wrong guess at this. Brito B says, hey Rock, what did you get from your blue egg hatch? Oh yeah, let's show that real quick. So I got this from my blue egg hatch the other day. Oops, it's not on this account. Let's go to the other account real quick. DFK3 account, into the pets. Look at this beauty right here. A rare basilisk, 4 stars right there. Rare wind, mysterious rare fishing bonus, mysterious rare woodworking bonus. So not too shabby for just this is my first pet I've ever hatched. So I think that is a pretty decent one. Certainly there are better pulls out there, but I think there are also a lot worse things we could have pulled. But yeah. Yeah, and kind of cute little basilisk there. I think you know that we're going to be giving away another egg also sometime soon, right? This weekend. And in fact, coming up in about 4 minutes, we're going to spin the wheel and pull some name out of the hat that's going to get a raffle ticket for this weekend's next pet hatched giveaway. Yeah, not bad at all. I agree. 4-star rare basilisk. That is right. All right, let's get to some of this stuff before all of y'all just start to really jump on the bandwagon here and Jewel skyrockets way out of what I was thinking. I'm going to do some weird reason it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So let's go ahead and get back into the seed box here. We're going to pull out from all 4 of our oops, am I in more? Oh, what's going on here? Oh, this is the wrong account. DFK1. So, Brito, what kind of pets, have you hatched any pets? What were some of the best pets that you've hatched recently? He says, quick, before Jewel hits $100. Exactly. I don't know if it's going to hit $100, but as I was just doing some math a few minutes earlier in the stream, I'm not sure if you were here yet, but we figured that if Jewel can go from where it's at now up to 19 cents, which is about a 20% gain, and if I can take some profits when that happens, it would actually be more profitable for me to move everything out of the liquidity pools I've got than to sit in these liquidity pools for 3 weeks. And and of course, having some C Jewel would be really good as well. We can always get back in these liquidity pools later. Ah, Brito, you are Breedveld. Yeah, I thought that might be you, but I didn't want to say. I do remember you. In fact, it was your inspiration that got me to patch that pet. Anyway, yeah, absolutely. 55 pets. Wow, that's crazy. Let's see. Okay, what we're doing is here, we're getting in the seed box and we're managing these four. We're just pulling out of everything. So Crystal BTC, out. So let's go ahead and withdraw all of that amount. Max, withdraw. Crypto Grady. Hey man, guess what I'm doing? I'm withdrawing $1,700. I'm withdrawing all of my liquidity from the gardens, and I'm going to move that over to Jewel. I'm doing something crazy. I'm doing something degen. How's your day going, Crypto Grady? Am I on Discord? Do you want to hop in or anything? Not that you have to. Don't feel obligated. But just seeing you there in chat reminded me that I probably want to at least become available there. You did a lot of that yesterday? Oh man, maybe you're part of the reason that the market has changed a little bit. You know, I did notice there's a little bit of a rise that I was not expecting with Jewel. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we expect Jewel is going to rise, right? But I have come to the decision this morning. In fact, we did some math on stream a little while ago, and we figured that I've got $1,700, at least in this account right here, in these liquidity pools. And if we can get Jewel, so if we're looking at the price of Jewel compared to Crystal, if we can get the price of Jewel to go only to 19 cents, it's only got to get to 19 cents from where it's at now, which is a 20% spike. If we can get Jewel to spike 20%, I could take some profits off of $1,700 USD value. And what that would mean is I would get about $250 thereabouts. And that $250 of gain from a 20% spike in Jewel is equivalent to keeping these, or it's equivalent to my daily gains from questing and all this kind of stuff and liquidity pool rewards over the course of the next 3 weeks, which I think we're going to have C Jewel over the next 3 weeks. Hopefully sooner rather than later, now that I'm withdrawing this. The sooner it happens now, the better for me, since I'm withdrawing this. Aisha Melham, hey, how you doing? Welcome on in. Brito, hey, and Crypto Grady. So Grady, what is your day like? You got anything planned for your day today? Let's see. We are just emptying out our liquidity pools right now. Getting them all. Everything out. Convert it all to Jewel today. Wait for a 20% rise in the value of Jewel. Sell off a little bit to take those profits. We're looking at trying to take about $250 worth of profits. Which those profits, we're not going to pull it out of the game. We're just gonna put that in something else. But as long as I can take some profits there off to the side, then that's going to be just the same as if we had kept it in the liquidity pools. Let's see. Crypto Grady says, you then going to SD Jeweler. I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. So I think, I don't know, Grady. In a way, I'm thinking with this value right here, I probably don't want to take it to the Serendale Jeweler. Why? And we can check this out in a minute, but I think the math might not make a lot of sense. There might be a little bit higher bridge fees than we want to pay. Again, it depends on how much money you have, I suppose, into this stuff. Oops, that's not what I want to do. The bridge fee is a percentage of the stuff that you're transferring over, right? Let's first get to the market and get this into Jewel before. I don't think that I'm a very big influencer, but people watching this video might have much bigger bags than me, or maybe they're going to watch later or something like that. And if that does happen, then I just want to make sure that I've switched over before a billion other people start to get into this and do this. And then as soon as I get this switched over to Jewel, then we'll chat about it a little bit more here. So maximum amount of crystal. Oops, we don't want to do that quite yet, do we? We need to come to the Druid first. And manage crystal in a box. Let's split those seeds. Let's see. First time checking this out. Really got into it all. Recently got into it, so just trying to learn. Thanks for sharing. Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Speaking of just being here, let's do a spin the wheel. It is 2:30 and we are doing a giveaway here. Let's come over here to the Nightbot and go into the giveaway section. Just say hi into the chat window right now. Just say hi into the chat window and get your name on this list of eligible potential winners. We're giving away a pet this weekend. We're going to hatch a pet and we are going to give away this pet. And the way to get entry tickets in for the pet giveaway is to be here and chat with us once an hour, 30 minutes after each hour that we're streaming, both in the morning streams on Twitch and the afternoon streams here. We are going to, who's ever active in chat gets their names on this list. So we've got Aisha, Crypto Grady, Rob Dig Root, Sardo Fritz, 9A, 7A, are you here as well? Nobel, those are a couple of my regulars. We'll give everybody just another couple of minutes to jump over the couch, race across the living room floor to their computers. If you're hearing me, you got me playing off in the background somewhere. Give y'all just another 30 seconds to get in here. Sounds fun? I do agree. Winning a pet does sound fun indeed. All right, let's go ahead and take these names that we got right here. Thanks for being here, folks. We're going to copy that. We're going to pull y'all over into the name of Wheel of Names. And, oh, Mystical Meow's in there too. All right, we'll get you in there too. Let's see. Subpotato won a little bit earlier this morning. Let's go ahead and Control V and paste y'all in here. Mystical Meows, we will not forget you. Don't worry about that. You just barely made it in under the wire, but we can squeeze you in. You are here fairly regularly. All right, let's get rid of all those other names. Okay, anybody else? Last minute. It looks like, oh, Potatoes. You squeezing in as well. Nice. Control C, paste you in here. All right, so we've got Aisha Brito, Crypto Grady, Rob Digroot, Sardo Fritz, Mystical Meows. We've got a rollover that just means that if that happens, then the ticket gets rolled over into the next drawing, and then Potatoes here. So it looks like everybody is good. Let's go ahead and copy these names like maybe twice more. Control V, to make the sizes a little smaller. It's a little bit more exciting that way. And let's see, let's roll it. Who's it gonna be this time? Burrito B, it looks like, is the winner right now. Congratulations, Reedveld. So Burrito, what we're winning right now is we're winning one of these NFTs, the Rock 808 Play to Earn reward tickets. Congratulations. We're going to do this again in another hour at 3:30 and another hour after that at 4:30 my time, Central Time. And these reward tickets are going to be your entry tickets into winning the blue hatched pet on Saturday. So y'all got to be here on Saturday to get your tickets into the pot as well. Yes, indeed. And then, Burrito, if you want to send me your wallet address, I'm not sure if you already have done that. You can either do it here in public, or you can send it to me on private Discord or in a private Twitch message, and then I can send this over to you, do a transfer there. But yes, that is what we are doing. Okay. Very good, very good. Looks fantastic. So Burrito, I'll give you a few minutes to get your wallet address over to me. In the meantime, I want to kind of race, if you want to call it that, split these seeds up so I can get everything done here and get out of these pools, convert over to Jewel. Fire. So what are y'all doing to get ready for the Sea Jeweler or the summoning that's happening coming up pretty soon? That summoning event. Clayton blockchain is coming pretty soon. Serendale 2.0. I think somebody was giving some timelines, some rough timelines. Does anyone have a link for that? Someone was specifying a very rough, I think it was their own guesses at which weeks were coming up that we were going to see Sea Jeweler and Clayton blockchain, when things were going to come out, like, what am I trying to think of? The green pets and all this other kind of stuff. Does anyone know what I'm talking about with that? I think it was on a Twitter message that somebody had out there, some kind of random speculation. Potato says, Rock, are the tickets entered automatically every weekend, or can we save them and enter giveaways as we choose? Yes. So these NFTs are yours to do with whatever you want. And over the course of some amount of time, we are going to be able to, or you are going to be able to throw in your tickets to whatever it is that we're doing. And so this weekend coming up, it is going to be, and I haven't fully decided yet how many tickets it's going to require to get these pets. I'm giving out 6 tickets a day for probably about 6 days. So 36 tickets are going to be given out in total. However, I do recognize that I miss sometimes. So maybe not full 36 are going to be given out. And I'm thinking somewhere around 2 or 3 tickets probably is going to be required to enter. And that just means that you would have to have been in here and chat often enough to win a few of those tickets. But if y'all don't want to enter the pet giveaway for some reason, and there might be reasons you wouldn't want to do that, there will be other prizes and other giveaways that will that those tickets can be based on in the future. And that's kind of the whole reason I created this reward ticket stuff in the first place. And as you can see, there's 59 owners. And if we look at this, we can see that 2,000 tickets for unnamed. I don't even know who that is. How did that? Oh, I think I gave away 2,000 tickets to some other streamer. I'm not sure who that is right off the bat. In fact, yeah, I'm not sure who that is right off the bat. but I think I gave it to some other streamer who was helping me kind of spread the word and do things. But there are some people that I'm sure y'all don't recognize. When I was in Sandbox, we were doing a bunch of giveaways. I don't think that these people are going to be around to, most of them aren't going to be interested in DeFi Kingdoms stuff. But they do still have a bunch of tickets. I don't think y'all need to worry about that as far as them trying to jump in and get these things. But yeah, y'all can hold on to them just like these other people have. And when we give giveaways, you can jump in and do whatever you want to do for whatever contests we have in the future. Let's see. Let's go to max and remove this as well. Yeah, we will be having other giveaways. I do plan to give away some heroes, probably some Gen 1 10 of 10s that were summoned from our Gen 0s. I plan to probably give away access to certain things as well. And I'm not sure what that might be specifically at the moment, but I'm thinking about access to maybe to be in a guild that we are working on, or to take part in certain events that we might have. Might require some tickets. And of course, the reason for that is I want to reward the people that are here in chat with me, right? I want to reward the people that are here in chat, that are hanging out with me, that are contributing, that are part of the community. And I found that the easiest way to do that is something like these tickets. And then, of course, also in the spirit of NFTs, y'all own these. So if you wanted to trade them off for something else, if you wanted to trade them amongst yourselves, you could. If you wanted to give them away or sell them to other people, trade them for a hero for somebody else, whatever it is that you wanted to do, then you could do that. They are NFTs that you own. You can move them around the blockchain as you see fit. Let's see here. Why is this not? What's going on here? Oh, it's saying 0. I already removed it, so there's nothing more to remove. Gotcha. Gotcha. Just not reading the screen. I'm too busy chatting to even see what's going on here. Crystal USDC. Let's manage that. Let's see. Brito B, what are you going to do with your gardens now, your gardeners now that we're taking these out? So I think what I'm going to be doing is sending them gold mining, maybe? We might send them gold mining for the next 3 weeks. That's a possibility. They might not be fantastic at that, but I mean, other than that, what are we going to do with them? And most of them are too low level to be fantastic at a training quest, right? We can take a look at that in just a minute. They don't have to do anything. Even if they didn't do anything at all, and if Jewel goes up to 19 cents, then my account made as much money as they would have keeping all these stuff in the liquidity pools. So it wouldn't really matter, right? I wouldn't be losing out anything. If we can get them on quests and we can do other things, then of course it's even more of a bonus. But if we're looking at levels ascending, you'll notice that several of the heroes are just level 1s or level 2s. And if we flip those cards over, most of these heroes are not going to do very well in training quests. 18, 11, there's a 19, 15, there's a 22, a little bit higher, another 19. And if we look at the infographic for those right here, we can see that with 16 through 20 stats, they have a really low chance, 26 to 32% chance to go up, right? So not particularly great. So why not send them on mining quests, perhaps, for gold mining? I guess some of them might already be going, but the gardeners, of course, could go and do something a little different. Crypto Grady says, get that milkweed, baby. And that's true. We could continue to send them to the gardens anyway. And even though that they are not going to be getting a lot of jewel and crystal back, maybe just the fact that they're going to be getting other materials, maybe that would be a good thing to do as well, right? So if they're getting milkweed, we could start selling some of that milkweed. Sort of Fritz, have considered you entering into other gardens with Jewel. You'll be exposed to Jewel, getting rewards, and keep growing your gardeners and keep your gardeners busy. I've thought of that a little bit. The issue comes into, I think it comes down to the only pool that I think that I would get into for Jewel today, if I was going to do that, would be Jewel X Jewel. Just because I want to be directly and only hold Jewel in preparation of this event. And I don't think that I want to be an X Jewel right at the moment either, just because of potential clashes in the market when everyone's trying to convert their X Jewel into Jewel. And even though that might be a little bit better financially, possibly, I think that I've already come to the conclusion that a 20% gain in Jewel right now, if we can just get up to 19 cents, if we can get Jewel up to 19 cents, then I will break even as far as what would happen if I would have just kept this money in these liquidity pools for the next 3 weeks. All right? Oops, I don't think that's, yeah. And I'm not necessarily overly concerned to be as greedy as possible. Maybe greedy is not quite the right word. I don't feel like I need to squeeze every little ounce of juice out of these heroes. If it's a little bit more difficult to jump through a couple of hoops for a few dollars, then I'm not necessarily sure that that's too big of a deal. Plus, there's all kinds of things that could happen and go weird. But yes, there are other possibilities of things to do. Getting into Jewel, X Jewel pool right now might not be too bad of a thing. I wouldn't condemn anybody for doing that if y'all decide to go that route. It's probably going to be easy enough to liquidate that pool. The only thing, and Grady and I were talking about this the other day, the only thing that I would be a little concerned about getting into Jewel X Jewel is pulling out of that liquidity pool too soon. And when Grady and I were talking about that the other day, he was bringing to my attention that as long as it's over 5 days, which I can't imagine C-Jewel coming out in less than 5 days, right? That doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So as long as it's over 5 days, you're talking about a fairly small percent. I think it was 0.5% chance. And then if it's over 2 weeks, which it could be, but unlikely, I think it's going to be probably right around the 2-week mark. But if it is over 2 weeks, then you're only talking about a 0.25% chance, right? I mean, 0.25% fee. But even if it is in just over 5 days and under 2 weeks for the gardens, and if y'all are wondering what we're talking about right there, I'm talking about this right here in this locking model. So like I said, Grady and I were talking about this the other day, and as long as it's 5 days and before 2 weeks, which I think it's probably, I think we might get C-Jewel in that time period, it's still only 0.5% fee to withdraw. And so that wasn't as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. So that could still be something good. If we get C-Jeweler within 2 to 4 weeks, then you're only paying 0.25% early withdrawal fee. And that's even a better thing. I don't think we're going to see Sea Jeweler in more than 4 weeks. I think it's coming sooner than that for sure. So it's just a matter of which one of these are we going to hit. And then I don't think it's going to come sooner than 5 days. So I would really be surprised if that were to happen within the next 5 days. Although it is possible, I guess. And then not only that, not only are you going to be hit with the withdrawal fee coming out of Jewel X Jewel, but also I think there might be here in the trader, there might be some liquidity issues as you try to convert X Jewel back into Jewel. And I was wanting to avoid that a little bit as well. So let me convert all of this stuff here into Jewel. Max, so there's going to be 336 Jewel from the USDC. We're just getting Jewel, baby. Just getting Jewel right now. Let's see. Crypto Grady says, oh man, those will do fine in training quests. 22% chance times 5. You're still going to come out good. Yeah, and level faster. I do agree with that, Grady. Definitely. I missed the days Milkweed was 0.7 Jewel. Yeah, it would be good to see that again, of course. But even if not, then I think we're going to be fine. But I'm pretty sure we are going to see much higher values soon. Look at that, 243 more Jewel from my Avox. Let's see. Okay, what else do we got here in chat? If you sent gardeners mining, you only get 35 to 40 gold or something, I believe, per run. That could be, right? But those gardeners will get better at mining. I have some gardeners, you know, when, what was it? We had an issue where in Crystal Vale, some of those quests, I forget if it was mining or gardening. I think I want to say it's mining quest that came out last, and there was kind of a delay in that, or was it gardening? I forget which one it was. But whatever the case is, we didn't have a bunch of quests in Crystal Vale for a while, and I was, in the meantime, sending, in fact, I think it was mining, if I remember correctly. So I was sending miners to go garden, or gardeners to go mine, whatever was the opposite one that we had. And those other heroes that didn't have a mining or gardening skill, I know that it was not very efficient of that, but they ended up getting really good, and they ended up bringing back a decent amount of reward for that. We didn't really have any other options at that time, because there wasn't any, you know, we couldn't do those other skill, or couldn't do those other questing in Crystal Vale yet. 4,000 Jewel for that ETH. Wow. All right. So let's see. I got Crystal USDC out, so I should have 0 USDC balance. I got Crystal Avox out, so I should have 0 Avox. I should have Crystal ETH. I should have had that out, so this should be 0. It probably needs to get caught up with the blockchain. ETH, BTC was the other thing. USD in the box. So BTC, let's look at BTC. What do we got there? Let's do max for that and swap that out as well. Let's see. And like I said earlier, even if I'm getting only 35 to 40 gold or something like that for sending them to a quest that they're not really great at, it's only a few gardeners, right? So for one, let's put all this into perspective a little bit. So for my heroes and attributes and gardening and apply, I've got 24 gardeners. So 24 gardeners are going to go out and they're going to do something else. And look at this guy right here. So he's a gardener that already has 3.6 mining skill, right? So they're already going to do a little bit better. Some of them might. Of course, a lot of them have zeros for mining. All right, but some of them have, there's a 2.3 for mining, and these are gardeners that already have the mining skill or have started it. I had been sending, even before we had mining, I think I was sending gardeners to other things for a little while. So forging, a little bit of forging there as well. And they might be bringing back a little bit more than normal. There's a fishing for 2.3 level skill. And I don't do that a lot, but like I said, as long as Joule goes up to 19 cents, I'm already making the same amount of money. And so I don't need to squeeze water from a turnip, if y'all have ever heard that saying before. Let's see, but I am definitely interested in hearing y'all's opinions, because there might be something out there that would be super easy and better to do than some of the things that I'm considering. And I'm just kind of rambling things off the top of my head right now of ideas, but I haven't solidified anything, and I haven't done the math, and I could very easily change my mind on any of these things that I'm doing. Let's see, Joule BTC looks good, or ETH looks good. Yeah, but then you're halfway into BTC or ETH, and even though those pools look good, I plan to get back into them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not pulling out permanently from those. I'm only pulling out right now so I can have all of this Joule. So now look at what my Joule is at. 5,430 Joule is waiting to go into C Joule instantly, right? I don't need to worry about pulling out of liquidity pools later on when there might be a mad dash for something. I don't need to worry about converting X Joule into Joule and what problems that might be. In this particular case, for this amount of money right here, I don't need to worry about bridging back and forth. However, I will say, if we come over to my other account, and I'm not going to touch this other account right now either, but if we come over to this other account and we go over to the Harmony blockchain on Serendale, and we take a look at the jeweler here, you'll notice that I've got 10,572 Joule, or 5,800 Joule locked away in the jeweler, and this is staying here in the jeweler on Serendale until C Joule comes out. And then this money is indeed going to be taken out of the jeweler here on Serendale, which will convert immediately into 10,572 Joule at the guaranteed rate of 1.823. And that's not what you're going to get if you are converting on Crystal Veil. If you're using the trader on Crystal Veil, you're not going to get this good of a conversion. All right, so that's one of the reasons that all of this is over here. I'm going to get a much better conversion pulling it out of the jeweler over here on Serendale. So we'll get that full conversion out, then that will be bridged over, and then I will have 10,000 additional Joule on top of the other Joule that I've got over there to stuff into C Joule, right? This one, there's going to be the only thing that I'm, and I wouldn't say concerned about, but the only thing that might go wrong with this is if there's a ton of people that are doing exactly what I'm doing here, and I think that there are. I think there's a lot of X Joule waiting on Serendale right now. If y'all took a look at when we did the voting, like let's come over here and just take a quick look. If y'all wanted to do some looking around yourselves real quick at what I was seeing, if you're curious at all. But if you go up to the voting stuff, wherever we had that, let's say vote for this kind of thing as an example, and you hover over these votes, you can see where these people are getting the votes, right? And so this person right here has X Joule liquidity pool, 496,000 vote power comes from the X Joule liquidity pool, right? So Joule X Joule probably there. But some of these things, as you can see right Let's see, some of these others. This one comes also from the liquidity pool. This one comes from more liquidity pool. More liquidity pool. But there is a, oh, here's another example. The very last item, and I can't really move my mouse around to show you too much, but you see the very last thing says plus 55K in X Joule CV. So that's just this person or this wallet has 55,000 X Joule just sitting in Crystal Veil that will need to be converted into Joule when it's time to put that into C Joule. But something else that you notice here is the very first entry is 0 X Joule on Serendale. And not everybody has 0 X Joule on Serendale. There are some accounts, and I'm surprised I'm not seeing too many of them here. This one right here is an example. 51,000 X Joule is on Serendale. Right? 51,000 X Joule. And a bunch of things with a lot less. But there's 804 X Joule on Serendale, 25,000 X Joule on Serendale. So those with the X Joule on Serendale are doing exactly what I'm doing, which looks like it's a lot less now, I think, than I had seen before. So maybe some people are moving it. But the only thing I'm concerned about here with this is if there is a ton of X Joule sitting on Serendale right now, that if we're all trying to bridge it over at the exact same hour, then that could maybe cause a little bit of slowdown on the bridge. I wouldn't expect that it to. I don't think there's enough people to cause a bridge slowdown. But then once it's bridged over, or once I take it out of the jeweler here, then it will be Joule already. And when I bridge over the Joule, I will immediately have Joule. So I wouldn't expect that it's going to be too big of a deal. Let's see. Quite a bit of crystal you have. Nice. I might have some decent amount of crystal, but I'm hoping I've got more Joule right now. Let's see. Crypto Grady says, yeah, good point. Does anyone know what X Joule gains are right now? So here's the deal, Crypto Grady. If we look here on the Serendale Gardener, I've been tracking this. Of course, your gains from X Joule are going to be seen in this ratio, right? So over time, this ratio goes from, or started out at 1 to 1, and then quickly went to, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Now it's at 1.823. And I will say that for the last week or maybe 2 weeks, this has stayed at 1.823, maybe the last week. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to say anything wrong, so I don't want to say that that's been too far. But at least for the last week, this has been 1.823, which means that it doesn't seem like there's any APR gains for X Joule now. I don't think that we're gaining anything with X Joule for the last week. Whereas in the past, we had seen this number slowly creep up over time. Remember something else. How does this X Joule or balance, how does this ratio get increased? It gets increased because of spending Joule, right? The more Joule that's spent, and how was Joule spent in the past? Summoning heroes, buying heroes, renting, hiring heroes, doing other things in Serendale, where we spent Joule, and a lot of Joule in Serendale. Because we're not doing anything in Serendale right now, and Joule is a gas fee on Crystal Veil, but the gas fee is so small that I don't think we're seeing, or I haven't seen any gains here. And if there are some gains, they're so tiny, they're more than 3 places out after the decimal, if there is any gains in here at all. And so for my way of thinking is we're probably not getting any APR from X Joule at the moment, right? But the reason I still have it here in Serendale Jeweler is, again, to make sure I guarantee to get this 1.823. Because if you come over to, let's see, where is it? Let's just hop back over to not Polygon, DFK. and you go into the marketplace and you're trying to do the trader here, and you're trying to convert crystal into X crystal right here, then notice you're having to pay more joule. It's 1.845 joule per X joule here. So you're paying more joule to get X joule. And then when you convert back, when you go from X joule back to joule, then you're getting, then you're getting less joule back. It's going to cost you more X joule to get that same joule back. So the ratio in both cases, going from joule to X joule and from X joule back to joule, is a little worse for you in both directions here. And I think because this is tied, or X joule here on Crystal Veil is tied to the DEX, which is all related to supply and demand, right? Then when C joule comes out and everyone's trying to dump their X joule, that is going to be, I mean, no one's going to want to buy X joule at that point, right? I can't imagine when C jeweler comes out, how many buyers, let me think about this a little bit more. I want to make sure to get y'all's input on this. How many buyers do you think there's going to be for X joule the day that C joule comes out? I would say, unless someone's got, I don't even know what they would be thinking. I can't imagine anyone wanting to buy X joule when you know it's going away. So my guess is that you're not going to have very many buyers of X joule, unless I'm just totally overlooking something. No one's going to want to buy X joule on that day for sure. So you're not going to have any buyers. Everyone's going to be selling, and you're going to have a ton of buyers for joule. So the demand for X joule is going to be super low. No one's going to care that the price is dropping. They're all going to be racing out of there as fast as they can. And joule is going to pump hard because everyone wants joule. You're going to have joule to get into C joule. Yeah. Cryptic Grady says 0 buyers only. I could imagine there would be somebody maybe trying to do some kind of arbitrage there at the last minute, right? Maybe some kind of botting arbitrage or something, I don't know. But I can't imagine anybody who has been playing DFK for a while, and as long as you're smart enough, unless you're, 5 brain, way beyond what I can even imagine. But I can't imagine that anybody would want to be holding X joule at the end of that day. And so I don't want to be involved in that mess. And I think that's why I don't want to be involved in the joule X joule pool, right? Because on that day, when you pull out of your joule X joule, you're going to be holding some amount of X joule, and then you're going to have to do something with that X joule. Now, what the dev team has said, what they're suggesting is that you don't use the trader because the ratio is probably going to be bad. So the dev team themselves has said, we don't recommend you swap your X joule for joule when that day comes, because your the market is just going to be bad to you. And so what they are recommending is they're recommending that you bridge your joule or X joule over to Serendale, withdraw it from the jeweler there, and then bridge the joule back over to here. But if you do that on the last day, then you're having to jump through a couple of extra hoops that I don't particularly want to jump through on that last day, or the first day of C joule, if you want to look at it that way. All right. And there's also bridge fees. There's also bridge fees that you'd have to keep in mind there. Brito says, according to Discord, 430,000 joule burned. Wow. Since when? Since ever, or just since some recent time? Raphael, welcome on in. How are you doing? Yes, the future is bright. Absolutely. Crypto Grady says, I think also DEX fees go to that, right? Yeah. I think there are some DEX fees, but lots of gas fees right now. How much Jewel has been burned? Oh, yeah. So you're just replying to that. Very cool. Potatoes said, or says, he also said parity is reached with Stylist, but not sure that part was a joke or not. So the Stylist still needs, in fact, I poked fun at a couple of the devs in the Discord a couple of days ago because I wanted to, I was making a little video of like a new person creating a new account. And I found that it was funny in a way, but also there was a little bit of seriousness behind my poking and prodding as well, in that if a new person wants to get into the game and they come into Crystal Vale, this whole time we have had Crystal Vale, you can't get a profile picture in Crystal Vale. You've got to only go through Serendale and Harmony blockchain to even create an account in this way with your profile picture and your name. You can't even set up a name for yourself and a profile picture unless you do that through a Harmony blockchain on Serendale. And now, of course, you can't even do that on Serendale at all because it's all shut down. And so I was making fun of them a little bit, half tongue-in-cheek, I guess, that, how does a game like DeFi Kingdoms supposed to bring in new players if those new players can't even create an account? And of course, you technically do not need a profile picture. You technically don't need a name. All you need is a wallet address. I'm aware of that. But most people are going to have the perception, what kind of game is this? I can't even create a profile yet. If I was looking at a game that I wasn't already in, if I wasn't already into DeFi Kingdoms, and someone's trying to bring me into DeFi Kingdoms, and they say, oh yeah, this is a great game. Oh yeah, but it's not even developed enough that I can create a profile. I mean, that's like the first thing that you would do when you're developing. Oh, let's have our players create an account. That's step number one. And to not have that feature here, that was kind of funny. Anyway, it was half serious and half not. But Stylist is the thing right here, is the last thing that we're going to need to do before you can get your profile and your name and all that kind of stuff if you have a new account. Yeah, still not available here in Crystal Vale yet. I think there was one other thing that Crypto Grady might have stumbled across the other day, and Crypto Grady, I'm not sure if you remember what that is. There was something you were asking about, I'm pretty sure it was you, where we couldn't do that in Crystal Vale yet either, and I forget what it was. Any other features that may drop today other than Silence? Yeah, I would suspect. I mean, it is indeed Wednesday, and normally we do get feature drops on Wednesday. So I'm going to suspect the Stylist, but there was one other thing, and I can't remember what that is, that was overlooked a little bit. But I don't remember what it is. Somebody else out there might. Let's see. Any other points that y'all want to make in here? Brito says, but most of it has been burned in the last month with higher fees, SD shutting down due to duels and so on, and Clayton coming with even more, will be even more. Yeah, absolutely. We are burning lots of Jewel here recently. I hope the contest, oh, maybe it's the contest. Maybe that's what it is that we don't have some contest that we used to have in Serendale also. Yeah, that might be it, Crypto Grady. Atonement? I think we have bridged atonement, and certainly attunement we do. But I think they added bridged atonement recently, a couple of weeks ago. Let's come back up to here and take a quick look. In fact, well, maybe I don't want to do that. Season 1s. Pet Bridge. I think it's going to be more recent than that. Let's do a, can I do a Control F and do a search for Atonement? Maybe. Atonement Crystal Bridging right here. So that was on like 10.5. Yeah, so here, you should now be able to bridge your Atonement crystals to DFK, and that was on October the 5th. So we've had that for a little while. Which one is the one that gives you the HP boost? Yeah, I think you can bridge all of your stuff over now. I don't think there's anything that cannot be bridged at this point. Serendale disabled features. We've got Hero Crystals can no longer stylist has been put on hold. Land. Maybe the land also is one other thing that needs to get implemented on Crystal Veil that hasn't quite yet. In fact, I'm not even sure that land is going to be implemented on Crystal Veil immediately, because I think that the land from Serendale 1.0 is actually going to be the land that's made available on the Clayton blockchain. Am I right? Does anyone know? So all that land that's available right now, it's not going to be available through the DFK blockchain, is it? I think there's a new set of land for the DFK blockchain, and the land that we've had on Serendale 1.0 is going to get passed over to Serendale 2.0. And then, of course, I've also heard that with a smaller number of blockchains or something, that they're adding more land squares to these blockchains as well. Is that true? Do I remember that properly? No liquidity yet, maybe none provided. Absolutely. Brito says Atonement is the HP mana, Attunement is the stat bonuses. That is correct, right? Yeah, and Grady here is saying, yep, that's right on the land, 250 per realm. Yes, I do seem to remember that. Thank you for the confirmation. So let's check our Druid one more time. I should be out of all of those things. I've just got Crystal and Lantern Eye and Crystal and Milkweed here in the last little bit. Oops, that's not the right account. We need to go back to DFK 1. Let's refresh this page. But I think I should be out of all of the liquidity pools at this point. Let's check the Druid one more time. Yep, just Crystal and Milkweed. I don't think that I have any of the other pairs. So again, we had USDC value, which I don't have any of. We had a box value, which I don't have any of. We had ETH value, which looks like I don't have any of. And we also had Bitcoin value. And those were the 4 pools that I had been in. Crystal ETH, Crystal BTC, Crystal USDC, and Crystal Vox. We had a total of $1,700, $1,745 in those pools right there. And so now if I was to convert all of my Jewel into USD value, what is this, only $850? I wouldn't have expected that. Am I looking at this wrong? Is the bank off a little bit on that? Oh, Crystal. We need to move over all of our Crystal. It is all in Crystal. That's the other half of it. So yeah, half of it being 850 is about right. The other half is in Crystal that needs to get all converted there as well. We're going to convert all of it except for 5 Crystal. There we go. That's the other half. Convert. Oops. I did not mean to do that. I think I just sent all of that to USDC, and I meant to send that to Jewel. Yikes. It's me moving too fast. All right. So we're going to have to do one more. As me just being silly. Maximum amount is going to Jewel, not into USDC value. So maximum amount, swap that out, confirm that on the blockchain. I get to pay more fees. I guess that just means more fees going into those people that are holding Jewel right now, right? And next Jewel, which also includes me. So yay. Yay for blockchain mistakes. All right. So now I should have Jewel, a little bit more Jewel here. Let's just see what we've got. It says 5,400. Let's wait for this to update. And then we should see close to about 1,700 or so. I'm looking at like 1745, and there might be a little bit less just for random things that are happening. But let's do our max. So there we go. So I'm going to end up, or I do end up with 10,000, almost 11,000 Jewel, which is about the same amount that we had in the liquidity pools, about 1745. And then it's that 10,000 or 11,000 Jewel is ready to go into C Jewel right away. So I'm set. I'm all set. And I think we did that at a good time because right in here, the value of Jewel is starting to increase a little bit as people, I think as more people are starting to prepare for exactly what we're talking about here today. All right. So we'll see what happens. But all I'm looking for over the next 3 weeks is for Jewel to spike above 19 cents. If we pull out a little bit, Jewel just needs to go. Oops, what's going on here? Let's refresh this page and invert those pairs. There we go. And look at the price. Here we go. Oops, that does not look right either. Something, tell you what, I don't know what's going on there, but let's take a look at crypto and CoinMarketCap for Jewel here. DeFi Kingdoms Jewel. There we go. And then we can zoom out. So if we can get Jewel to 19 cents, which is right here, that does look like that's a pretty high jump. But from 15 cents to 19 cents is not necessarily too big of a deal, I don't think. But if we can do that, then that means that I will have made the same gains as I would have if I would have kept all of that in the liquidity pools for the next 3 weeks. Right. Let's catch up with what y'all are doing here in chat. Let's see. Brito, how long are you going to lock your Jewel for? Oh yeah, that's another decision. I'd be curious to see how long all of y'all are your plans are for locking Jewel. We were having this discussion earlier today on the Twitch stream as well. I'm thinking one account for a year, one account for 6 months. That sounds like that could be a good thing. I think there's a part of me that wants to do one account for 3 years, right? And I'm not going to put a ton in there, but I think I do want to at least put something into a 3-year account just to say that I did, just to kind of support the community and just kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it bragging rights, maybe a little bit of bragging rights. yeah, I got something in there for 3 years. This is what it's doing. So I think that would be kind of cool. Again, I don't plan to put a lot in for 3 years because a lot can happen in the world in 3 years. But I do think I'm going to put some in. And then I think a year is another good thing. I think a 6-month wallet would be good. And then I'm also thinking about something a little shorter as well. I'm thinking about some amount for 7 days and then maybe some amount for about 1 month or 3 months. And I don't want to go crazy with a whole bunch of wallets either. So I think with just maybe the wallets that I've got now, and I think I've got maybe 5 wallets between these things. I've got the DFK 1, 2, and 3 account, that play to earn investment fund, which I don't really consider mine. It's more of us, our community, but we are going to do a little something with that. And I'm going to let y'all vote on how long we have our community's play to earn account do its thing. I've also got a giveaways account that I might put something into for a little bit and just say, you know, hey, there's an account here that's going to hold some amount of money for some amount of time. So I think with those few accounts that I've already got, I'm going to have kind of an array. And I forget who I was talking to this morning. Potatoes, was it you or there was somebody that I was talking to a little bit this morning that kind of gave me the idea of not only, I think what they were going to do is they were going to move their rewards from one pool into the next. So when they got rewards from like their 7-day pool, then they were going to move it to their 1 week, then they were going to move it to their 1 month pool. And then the rewards from their 1 month pool, they would move to their 3 month pool, or however they were going to do it. But that's what they were talking about. And what I was thinking about doing, that gave me the idea of putting a larger amount of money into a 7-day pool. And then when that 7 days is up, taking 25% out of that into the next higher pool. So 25% of the 7-day pool would go into the 1 month pool. And then that 75 remaining would go back into another 7 days. And then after that 7 days, another 25% would go into the monthly pool, kind of on a rotating, shifting basis through different pools and different lengths. And then, of course, also being able to take out some of that money ahead of time, I think, is going to be really good as well. You don't want to lock up a large portion of your money for a long time. Robin Hood says, love your dedication and hard work. Looking forward to your next video. Crypto Grady, yes. Crypto Grady has a lot of stuff. And that reminds me, Robin Hood, it is time to do another spin of the wheel. I think everybody's aware of my play to earn reward tickets that I'm handing out this week for just hanging out with us here in chat. These tickets you will need for the weekend giveaways that we're doing. And this Saturday, we are giving away a pet egg, or a pet that's hatched from a blue egg that I have. And to get your name on that list, all we need to do is come over here and we're going to come into giveaways. Just say some words into chat. All you got to do is say some words into chat right now. Get your name on this list. And we will spin the wheel of names and see who is going to get these raffle tickets. And then come on Saturday, you can pitch these raffle tickets in to get your name on the list for winning that pet that we're hatching this Saturday. A blue egg. So Mystical Meows, Breedo, Rob Dig Root, Robin Hood, Sardo Fritz, Crypto Grady, you're welcome to get in here as well. I know that you're probably not overly, I know that you would be gracious enough probably to give up your tickets or something like that, but maybe you could do something else. Maybe you could get that and give it away on your stream or something like that, right? Let's see. Big Sweaty D's, welcome on in as well. And then 9A, 7A sometime is here lurking in the back. Nobel, I'll give everyone just another 30 seconds or so. Potatoes getting in here. Very good. I'll give anyone else another 30 seconds to race out of the kitchen, leap over their living room furniture to get to that computer, to type in something into the keyboard here. We got a good set of names in here right now. That's nice. Thanks for being here, everybody. I like to reward people that are hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and capture those names. And let's bring y'all over to the Wheel of Names. Brito B was the last person that won. And Brito, I have not sent your last ticket yet, but I do have your name on the list, and I will be looking for your wallet address in Discord after the stream, and I'm going to send it to you then, so I don't have to interrupt the stream too much. All right, let's go ahead and close that window out, and let's select all of this and do Control V and paste those names. Big Sweaty D, D's, Brito, Crypto Grady, Mystical Meows, Potatoes Potatoes, Rob Digroot, and we're also going to include our new friend Rollover, which just means nobody wins a ticket today, or I mean, nobody wins a ticket this time, and the ticket will be rolled over, so the next winner will have a chance to win 2 tickets. And I think that's kind of fun. So let's take all those names and let's paste it again, and maybe even one additional time. That kind of makes these the size of the pie a little smaller, and then that makes it a little bit more exciting when we actually spin this wheel. So let's see who's going to win this. Tickets for this time. Chances at the egg. Brito again, twice in a row. Oh my goodness. All right. Congratulations. Twice in a row, Brito. If I've got a viewer of mine. He's been watching for a long time. He goes by Bjorn, and if he was watching right now, he would say, "Rigged, rigged." Oh, did Aisha get in? Was she here? I don't see her listed recently. But thanks, Grady, for pointing something out like that. If we do miss anybody, we want to make sure we get them in real quick. I didn't see Aisha recently on that list, and just was not. Let's go back to here. Here's what we want. I didn't see her on that list there. Put her in twice next time. Aisha, if you are here, then let me know. Sometimes people come and go, and sometimes people, are off in the restroom when we spin these things. They might be lurking in the background, but if they're not here to say hi in chat, then they're not here to say hi in chat. It's all about being a little active. So, Brito, I've got your down for 2, which we'll hand out at the end of the stream. We are going to do one more giveaway of this in 1 more hour, so at 4:30. Sorry, wasn't sure how it works. I guess I'm new. Yeah, don't worry about that, Aisha. Just in 1 more hour, we're going to be doing another giveaway, and you just have to say like hi in chat, something like that, and get your name on that list. I think when I mentioned that, I think we've got about 1 or 2 minutes. I don't do it too quickly, but we also don't want to wait too long either. All right, let me catch you back up in chat. It's great to have all of y'all here. I'm so happy for all of you. Let's see, GameFi. Big Sweaty says, GameFi, going to be huge. Indeed, I agree. Biggest real-world use case for crypto by far. I agree with that. Well, maybe so. Definitely, GameFi is definitely huge. Well, I think one of the other things that I would say is huge real-world case is moving money across borders. That is probably a really massive case we've had for a while. But yeah, GameFi is massively huge. And then also, Potatoes here says, Rock, but my plan was more to have a staggered amount of time lockups. Yes, and that's my idea also, right? To have a little bit more staggered for different amounts to get in the higher rewards percentage with lower actual lock time. Probably didn't explain that right. Oh, yeah, so maybe I didn't fully think out what your plan was on that. It sounds to me like what you are saying is you're putting money in these different buckets, right? At the different locked plans for a week, for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year, whatever plans you have. And then as you have those different locked balances, you're going to be getting more out at various times. So in a way, you're a little bit more liquid in that, right? I think that's what you're saying, is that you'll consistently have money coming out of each of these different pools rather than locking a bunch of it up. And that's kind of my plan too, except I'm thinking that I want to be able to have access to a lot more of my funds early on, because I'm a little, I don't want to say I'm skeptical or scared, but I'm unsure what might be happening with C-Jewel and what rewards we're going to be getting. So I know that some things that the team has talked about is we're going to be getting fee sharing. I've heard the team mention that C-Jewel is going to, quote, unlock certain parts of the game, but we don't even know what that is right now. I'm sure they're going to try to have something that's really good, but as Sandwich Punch has said recently, he was so bullish on the fact that just around the corner, DFK team was going to have PvP. In fact, I think Sandwich Punch likes to bring up the fact that he was saying there's no way that DFK won't have PvP by the summertime. And he said this at the end of last year, right? There's no way that DFK won't have it by the summertime, or at least by the end of summer or something like that, right? And now he kind of pokes at himself a little bit that he had so much faith and he was so bullish on that, and that didn't happen. And so what I'm getting at here is we don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. Right? We could have a massive world war. Any types of things could be happening. And so, and we also don't even know what's going to happen or what they're even going to allow or have in C-Jewel. Right? And so I'm not even sure that I want to put 50% of my money into a 6-month lock period, right? 6 months could be a long time. So what my plan is to put smaller amounts into some of these 6-month, 1 year, 3 year pools, a larger amount of my money into the 7-day pool to start with. And then later on, after that first 7 days happens, then I can start moving money out of those shorter periods like the 7-day, and I can move 25% at a time into these longer pools. And over time, that's going to take a bit of time, right? 7 days before I'll be able to get that out. That means 1 week will go by, and then in 4 of those time periods, then a month will have gone by, and hopefully by that time, in a month's worth of time and in 2 months worth of time, we'll be able to have a much more clear picture as far as what the team means by rewards. Whereas I'm still adding to that pool, right? I think you've got a really good plan here. It's just, I think it's going to be a little different than my plan, but I definitely can see what you're going after with trying to keep a smaller amount of lock time where your funds aren't locked up for quite so much time. Let's see. What really blew my mind, Potato said, is utility for crypto is NFT licensing. Yeah. Just how Waifu Bot is doing? Yeah. Need to look at that more. Absolutely. That's something else that I think is going to be very interesting when you've got a license that you can have and sell. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm very positive about using the Waifu Bot as one of my first original and probably my still go-to botting service. And the main reason there is because I'm not having to pay a monthly fee that gets flushed down the toilet from my perspective. I mean, I'm glad that the dev team that's charging monthly fees, there's several of them out there, but I'm glad that those people are getting paid for their work and their time. Don't get me wrong. If they weren't getting paid for their work and their time, they'd stop developing, right? But from my perspective, I'm not seeing that money anymore, and that's just a permanent expense to have to pay $30, $60, $100 a month for those services, when something like the waifu bot and licensing for that allows me to not only use that product for some amount of time, and maybe even an indefinite amount of time. I guess it depends on if the license would only work for a certain version. That's another way you could do it. Like here you have a license to run version, 3 or version 3.0 or something. And then when a lot more work goes into version 4 of a product, then maybe you'd have to buy another license, or maybe pay a difference to upgrade your license to now being able to run version 4.0 of something. And I wouldn't mind paying for that either, right? But the other thing is that if I ever decide to get out of DeFi Kingdoms, which of course I never plan to do at this point, but if someone was, it makes me feel more comfortable that I do have an escape route if I need to, for whatever reason, right? So I could sell my license back out on the market and someone else could buy it and they could have access to it. But in the meantime, I could still get either all of my money or a portion of my money back from selling the NFT license off to somebody else. So yeah, when you're saying the utility for crypto for NFT licensing kind of blows your mind a little bit, yeah, that is going to be fantastic. I see some really good stuff there too. Absolutely. Let's see here. Let me catch up in chat a little bit. She's new. Got to give love to these folks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rugged, rigged. Put her in twice next time. We could think about that. I wouldn't mind doing that. Yeah, don't worry about that, Aisha. Let's see. You can put her in. You can put it in up to 3 years. Yeah, and longer if you leave it in more. Rewards can be harvested. That is right. So one of the things that we need to consider, I think how it's going to work, and I think Robinhood, this is what you're getting at here also, is that if you put it in on a 7-day period, let's say that you put some money in on a 7-day time period, you don't have to take it out after the 7 days. You can leave it in there. But then after the 7-day period, you could take it out whenever you want, right? That you've had it in there for 7 days. But the longer you keep it in there, the more that you're going to be earning on a regular basis. The difference is, let me see if I have I don't think I've got a schedule for that. Maybe it's in the Discord, or maybe it's somewhere. If somebody has the link to where it talks about the formula for leaving or vesting your jewel in a C jewel, I've misplaced that. I don't have my link right at the top. But what that turns out to be is that you're going to be getting some amount of vested value back on an ongoing basis, but it's going to be smaller. So if you've invested for a 7-day period, then even though your time is up, and if you leave it in there longer, that's fine. You could take it out at any time, but the rewards that you are getting on a daily basis are going to be smaller than if you already knew you were going to leave it in there for a month. Then the monthly rewards are going to be much bigger. And of course, 3 months and 6 months and a year and 3 years is going to be much bigger. So putting either more value in or extending out your time could be really helpful. But it might be good for some of us who feel a little bit more skittish about things to put some amount in for 7 days, leave it there and continue to leave it in there so you could have easy access to that the whole time. Yeah, Frisky Fox was talking about power-ups in the game and other benefits. Absolutely. And the thing is, how many people are really going to care about those power-ups? I think a lot of us that are watching and that are hanging out in DeFi Kingdoms right now, we're the hardcore group, and I think that a lot of us are going to want those power-ups, and probably a lot of new people will end up wanting those power-ups as well. But I keep talking about the fact that in my old RuneScape days, RuneScape being free to play, and there was this whole big map area that was free to play, and I would just hang out in the free to play. This was 20 years ago, I guess, when I was playing this version of RuneScape, And I don't know how much it's changed since then. I do know it has changed at least a little bit since then. But there was this whole big area that we could play in for free, and I was happy and fine. And at that time, I didn't really believe too much in paying for these games, right? And of course, I've changed my viewpoint since then. I certainly don't mind paying. I don't mind paying for games I love, or paying for entertainment that I'm enjoying the entertainment value for. Whether I'm getting any value back, I don't even care sometimes, right? Of course, now in crypto games like this, I would prefer to be gaining more than I'm spending. But if it's a really fun game, I don't mind paying more. But the point I'm trying to get at here is that when we had RuneScape, there was a huge amount of people that were playing RuneScape for free. And even though there was another part of RuneScape that you could pay for, and you could get access to these special rooms and these special parts of the map if you paid, a lot of us never did. We didn't even care to go into those paid for places. All of the free places were good enough for us. And so here's where I see this thing with Frisky talking about power-ups and level-ups in the game. I do think a lot of hardcore players are going to want to invest Jewel into Sea Jewel to get access to those games, but we do not, I don't think we want to get on the bandwagon of saying that, oh, everybody's going to want Jewel and Sea Jewel. That's not going to be true, I don't think. And I think we've seen that in lots of other areas where people are happy to play these free-to-play games for free. And they don't, I mean, there's been many free-to-play games where you could spend more money to get certain power-ups, and there's a bunch of people that just do not believe in that, right? And that's fine. Let them do that. I don't mind paying for power-ups and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I love to power up my accounts and heroes and my guild and my team and whatever a lot more. And I don't mind doing that kind of thing. But I think there's going to be a lot of people that just won't do it. So it'll be interesting to see how much demand there is for that. And I think the level of demand is going to come into what are the power-ups? How advantageous are the power-ups? And from what Frisky has said and some of the other dev team, I have a sneaking suspicion that those of us in the game right now especially are really going to love those power-ups. I think they're going to be really good. I think if you don't get in on Sea Jewel, those of us that are here right now, if we really do love the game, I think we're going to wish that we had gotten in more. And that's one of the reasons why I've just converted all of my liquidity pool to Jewel right now. 11,000 worth of Jewel waiting to jump into Sea Jewel on this account, and a lot more. I think was it 50,000? No, 10,000 other Jewel on another account waiting to get in as well. Yeah. Nobel, hey, how are you doing? Welcome on in, Nobel. How's your day been? Let me catch up in chat here, see what y'all are talking about. Instead of subscription for holding Sea Jewel, Frisky Fox explained that you would qualify for power-ups, added benefits in the game. Yeah, but I think I think what he was saying is it's been described as a subscription before, but since we're not actually paying our Sea Jewel, since we're not actually giving up our Sea Jewel, he did want to further clarify how that works, right? And so rather than paying in Sea Jewel, because we're never going to be giving up our Sea Jewel that we have, it's just going to be an amount that stays in your wallet. You're not going to be able to sell it. As soon as you withdraw your jewel from the jeweler, your Sea Jewel is going to go away, right? So it's just there to kind of show you how much voting power, how much power-up utility you've got right there. Yeah. And I think, I think he did a really good job of clarifying it when he was on with Grady's stream. That really, I was kind of thinking that that's how it was going to be, but I wasn't really clear. I wasn't sure if we were actually going to be paying C-Jewel out or how that was going to work. But when they got on Grady's stream not too long ago, it's definitely very clear now that we are not going to be paying C-Jewel. It's just a value that sits in our accounts, and then we can apply some of that value to power-ups. You could kind of think of it like a subscription or certain accesses, of course, voting power, and all this other kind of stuff as well. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Let's see. Potato says, Rock, forgot to ask what you mentioned earlier. Team really has discouraged multiple accounts. Ah, yeah. Seems wild to me. I would think it's best for security practices to have multiple wallets and encouraged by the team. So anyone else can chime in if they want to about this. I have heard on multiple occasions that the team is not banning people from multiple accounts, right? No one's getting banned for having multiple accounts. But the team is also not wanting people to have a ton of different accounts and, you know, that to try to win prizes. And I think this is part of it too. Imagine, for example, here in chat right now, where we've got this wheel of names where we're spinning names right here, and somebody's going to win this. Well, imagine if one of y'all created 10 accounts and you got in here and you said, hey, I'm here. And then 10 of these names is from one person, right? And that's what the team wants to avoid. The team does not want us creating 100 or 1,000 wallets each, where we're trying to game the system based on certain things in the game where a certain number of wallets can win, right? So sometimes in the ecosphere here in DeFi Kingdoms, they've said only one winner per wallet, right? So let's take, for example, Gen0s, right? You have a chance to win a Gen0, but only one Gen0 per wallet can win, right? So what would somebody do if they wanted more chances to win? Well, they would spread out their money into 100 different accounts, right? And then they would try to do whatever they needed to do in those 100 different accounts to try harder to get this Gen0 that can only be given out one per wallet, let's say. Well, whales who have a lot of money could easily split out each of these 100 accounts to have $100,000 each. And they could do whatever it takes, whether it is summoning heroes or buying a lot of heroes or whatever it is. And so now you got this whale with 100 accounts with $100,000 per account doing something. And that means that if you only have one account, then you're at a disadvantage for that. You're only going to have one chance to win that Gen0. And so that's what the team's trying to avoid when they put into place certain things that discourage multiple accounts, right? And the team is doing things to discourage that. And they've also said, and I can't remember, it's not like I can go and point to a document or an AMA or something and say, this is where they've said that. But you could ask them on the Discord, do you endorse someone having 10 or 100 accounts, or would you prefer that we have one or two accounts? And I think you're going to find that all of the devs are saying we prefer you have one or two accounts. We don't endorse anyone to have multiple, or especially dozens or hundreds of accounts. Yeah, and it's for that reason, is my understanding. Right. Let's see. But you're right, for security purposes and practices, and even right here, I mean, I'm very open about the fact that I've got, these 5 accounts. Although I would also say that I'm not trying to win a Gen0 from each of these 5 accounts that I have here, right? I'm doing different things with these different accounts. It's not like I'm trying to sneak in and have 5 different entries to something, right? But I'm sure there are people out there right now, not necessarily y'all in the audience, but people in the DFK ecosphere that are probably doing things like that already. Yeah. Brito says, off to bed. Good night. Hey, good night, Brito. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Really appreciate you being here in chat, each and every one of you. And we'll see you tomorrow. Let's see here. Robin Hood says, Grady, what time do you do your shows? Oh, speaking of that, Grady, if we are going to do some kind of a team up thing where I'm going to get on and do a little bit of a news spot on your show, we might want to think about, is there a specific time that we want to do that on your channel? You know, one of the things that you had mentioned before on one of your streams is the consistency, right? And so I'm struggling. It's not easy for me to be consistent necessarily all the time. It's a little easier since I've been doing it for a month now. And when I was doing it last year for Sandbox, it was real easy just to, you know, have a certain time that I get on and I'd be on for so many hours. But to get back into the swing of things, it's been a little bit of a challenge to get there right on time. So it's really good for me to have a set time or set schedule. We don't need to talk about that necessarily right now on this stream right here, but definitely I think we do want to talk about a little bit, you know, how we want to manage that. And I don't know if we want to do that. Hey, oh, you're here.
Hey, decided to jump on.
Nice.
I love it.
Welcome. You're welcome every time.
I love it. Several things I was wanting to talk about anyways.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
But that was the big one. I've just been thinking about how to get that going. Consistency and same time, I think is key.
Sure.
So what time zone are you? You're in the States, right?
Yeah, I'm in Texas, so it's U.S. Central Time.
Yeah, same. I'm in Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, you're such a machine. You're already going 6 hours a day.
I am.
Would there be a good slot time to slot that in where you feel like you could be consistent every day? Morning, afternoon, whenever.
So let's think about this a little bit, right? I would love, and not just me, but I think everybody in the DFK community would love to see more Crypto Grady more often, right? And so I don't know if it's even possible for you to set up something where every day or every other day, is your life arranged in such a way that you have a specific time of the day on, maybe even not every day, but on certain days of the week that you can kind of guarantee or that you want to be on stream?
Well, so that's part of my weakness is consistency, like steady Freddy. But that's what I thought you had just mentioned. Consistency is hard for you. Is that what you had said?
Well,
I was thinking you were like your steady Freddy consistent type of guy.
I can be, but it's hard to get started. It's like, have you ever, been, tried to get going to the gym, and when you're first starting to go to the gym, it's rough. Oh man, I got to go to the gym. But then after you go to the gym on your regular schedule for weeks or months, then of course it's really easy to get in there. And that's kind of me. So it's hard to get started, but after I've gotten started, then it's easy to go.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I would kick it off and do it a few times myself, and I've just been thinking out loud, maybe I should do it a few times.
Yeah.
Kind of try and set a pattern and then get you kind of pass off the baton.
Sure. But
that was my biggest debate is when.
Right. So here's my thinking. First, for me, let me tell you how it works for me, which might be different from you, and maybe you can consider some of this. But for me, when I get off track, whether it's going to the gym or whether it's doing streaming, when I take a break for a little bit from that, our lives don't ever seem to have a vacancy for very long. In other words, when I was streaming I was literally streaming Sandbox for 8 to 12 hours a day straight. I would get up and I'd start at like 10 a.m. And I would go until 6 p.m. just the whole day through, right? And then
crazy.
Sometimes even to 8 p.m., right? It was just straight through. every single day. And so I got this nickname of 80 hours a day, 8 days a week, right? 808 is kind of where that's
Oh,
not where 808 came from, but they took the 808 in my name and made it into
oh,
this little joke of 80 hours a day, 8 days a week.
okay.
But anyway,
I love it.
that's the community for you. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Now that I'm going and everything's pretty much steady for me, I think I can keep up this pace for a long time, indefinitely. I don't know, but this seems like an easy enough pace for me. Here's what needs to happen. When we get busy, it's hard to push aside other things in my life. So to do this, to get on and be able to do this, before I was streaming again, I had taken a break and I was doing gardening. I was out in my garden working for several hours. I was spending time with a couple of different friends. I was doing I was cooking in the kitchen. I was doing kombucha and sauerkraut and doing a bunch of ferments from the stuff that I'm growing. And my life was very full with other things that I do. And your life might be the same in that way. So for me, what I had to do is I said, okay, what can I give up in my life to take 6 hours a day for streaming? And I had to push things out of the way. And it took a little bit of time. I didn't necessarily jump in to the streaming DeFi Kingdoms here 6 hours a day right off the bat. I wasn't extremely consistent in the first couple of weeks anyway. I was struggling getting right there on time and all this other kind of stuff. I had to adjust my sleep schedule a little bit. Anyway, I don't want to spend a lot of time getting sidetracked. But for you, it might be the same thing for you. So I would say first, you need to think about what time of what days works out well for you. And then just see, can you push aside certain things in your life on Tuesday at 5 p.m., right? As an example.
Right. Yeah. I'm personally pretty freed up, except at times I'll have the kids or stuff to do with the kids. But usually throughout the day, I'm pretty freed up.
Yeah.
So and I tend to be more of a night owl.
Yeah, I noticed.
So maybe like a nightly recap. But also some people like early morning stuff, but I'm not much of an early morning guy.
Sure.
But night makes sense because a lot of times in the early evenings is when DFK will do announcements with all these things going.
Yeah.
And
I think
anyone
also,
can comment. Anyone can comment on what your guys' thoughts are too.
So here's a couple of my thoughts, and that is, I think for one of the things that I'm saying when I am speaking about how it works best for me is in the very early stages of trying to push things out of my life to make room for the streaming, it was a little bit of a challenge, and I didn't push away everything that I have now very early. It took a little bit of time to do that kind of stuff. And so what I might suggest to you is, can we find 2 or maybe 3 days a week at a specific time that we can start you off and start to get a consistent schedule? And that might make it easier than trying to jump, all the way into the deep end of the pool for this, right? And then maybe once you've gotten a certain set of days and that doesn't mean you can't stream any other time, right? You can stream anytime you want, but these specific days and these specific times, you're guaranteed to be there, right? And so that way you start to grow that consistency. And then after you're consistent on that for a week or 2 weeks or 3, then you start to say, all right, well, let's expand a little bit to maybe these other times, or expand, come on an hour early or stay an hour later, whatever it is, once you feel a little bit more comfortable with that, right?
Yeah. And just so you guys know, and just to kind of confirm what Robin Hood just said, and Miss Cool Meows, I love it. So I had in mind to do an every single day for 5 to 20 minutes range.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 to 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Is just do like daily updates of DFK.
Yes.
And every single day.
Yeah.
That's consistent, same time, every day. and it's short and sweet.
Yes.
So, and I, one of my most frequent comments that I get personally, this is me, is your videos are too long. Your videos are too, like, I literally had a guy comment on one of my YouTube videos today and said, every time I turn on a video, it's 45 plus minutes and I'm just turned off. Like I can't watch it. And so I'm aware of that.
I am too. Yeah, I am too.
Yeah. But
I love the stream. So here's the thing for me, and I don't know how you're going to handle that situation. I think that doing a 15 to 30 minute live stream is fantastic. I think that's a really good way to do it. One of the things that I'm going to do, I don't think I'm going to do a 30 or 15 or 30 minute live stream, but I think that I will start doing something in my off hours from the live streams into making, 5 to 10 minute long condensed videos of something very specific, right? And then putting those on YouTube for easier consumption. Because I've had the same thing, but that's going to be my solution. And then I'm going to continue to have my, 3 hour long, twice a day live streams.
Right. Yeah. Because I think those are good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But setting up a pattern for people to, and you'll get a lot more people listening, and they'll look forward to it.
Yeah.
Like I have some of those crypto YouTubers that I just look forward to on a daily basis and it's at the same time every morning or whenever.
Oh yeah.
And doing something like that, I think would be awesome.
Right.
And just all things DeFi Kingdoms news wise, and maybe you can throw something else in a little bit.
Sure.
But like something that, because I'm constantly changing, I'm constantly thinking about how can we, like, patterns of the markets, even outside of DeFi Kingdoms, like big picture of crypto in the whole world, but then also within the DeFi Kingdoms economy, even like what we talked about the other day, Jade versus Jewel versus Crystal. And because you can't go wrong just buying and holding and falling asleep long term, I think with the game,
right,
especially with some of the pools or some of the different things. I think it's fine if you have a long-term approach, but if you can, especially in this economy, if you're really following where listeners can really benefit is, we see trends happening all the time within the game, and we can take advantage of that if we stay on it. And so we could talk trends, kind of like we did when Crystal mooned all the way up past 40 cents here like a month or two ago, and Jewel was below 20 cents. And then we saw Crystal crash and Jewel pumping. We thought that would happen. We really, once the new proposal came out, as soon as that proposal came out, it's like, boom, instant sell Crystal into Jewel. Okay. And then we saw Jewel go from 18 cents to 22 cents, and we saw Crystal go all the way down to 18 cents.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, now that that's happened, there's still a real need for Crystal right now. Everyone's moved to Crystalville. There's 1/10 the supply of Crystal versus Jewel.
Sure.
So we're going to see Crystal pump, and we saw that happen. It went from 18 cents to 27 cents, and we saw Jewel go from 22 cents down to where it is now.
Yeah.
15 cents. And then now we're kind of probably going to see a flipping back happen. But a big part of that is like what's going to happen with Jade. So maybe, so one point that someone said today also is that they think that the summoning event for the Gen0 raffles will actually happen on Crystalville. Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a few things that were talked about a long time ago that made me think that it was going to be on Crystal Vale. In fact, I was a little surprised when I started hearing some words that made it sound like it was going to be on Clayton. I was like, no, I don't seem to remember that it was going to be on Clayton. Of course,
Okay.
I could be misremembering.
Well,
Right?
I just purely assumed that that's going to happen on the new blockchain, and then and then they're going to bring about the Gen Zeros,
So
you
here,
know,
here,
from that. But I
here
don't know.
here's my perspective. And
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong. I think this exact same thing happened when we had Serendale and we were opening up Crystal Vale. But here's what I seem to remember, and that was that we summoned heroes, or there was a lot of events that were happening on Serendale. So a lot of things that we were doing on Serendale got us raffle tickets for the Crystal Vale Gen0 heroes. And then that way, when
Right.
Crystal Vale opened, those Gen0 heroes, not even right away, but after a week or 2 weeks, I forget how long it was, it seemed like forever, that after
Hmm.
Crystal Vale opened, that we finally got airdropped a couple of Gen Zeros. Even when that happened, though, the Gen Zeros still, even though they were sitting in our wallets, we still couldn't sell them. We couldn't, there wasn't a tavern at that time. We couldn't summon with them. There wasn't a portal or anything like that, right, for a while.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so it wouldn't surprise me at all if our summoning event was going to be on Crystal Vale, and the event that happens on Crystal, because we're not going to have, I don't think, we're going to have summoning ability on day one in Clayton, especially if we don't even have any Gen Zeros, right? How are we supposed to summon without any heroes on Clayton blockchain? So
Well, so
go ahead.
my understanding is that we'll be able. I think there's a chance. This was actually one of my questions for Frisky, but ran out of time. Was Nine Dwarf thinks that they're just going to be able to launch everything like right away.
Maybe.
Everything will go live. We'll have everything. We'll have
Maybe.
the Stone Carver. We'll have full parity from day one because of something within the code that Nine Dwarf thought it'll be easy to just transfer all of it instead of recreating a whole. They're not going to have to. I do know this. They won't just have to. They're not recreating Serendale 2.0.
Right.
It's kind of like they're just going to be able to plug and play.
Right.
And so I think we'll be able to summon and everything right off the bat.
Well,
That's why I was thinking that Jade would moon,
so I've heard
because they're
that.
going to be having the summoning events and everything there. But you're right. Yeah, I could be totally wrong. And
Well,
it could all happen on Crystal Vale, which would mean we need to rethink. Like that would mean Crystal will moon,
yeah.
and Jewel will also moon as soon as the C Jewel and S Jewel go live. Those options. And some people think that tomorrow there's the alpha that's going to be dropped in the AMA. Will be giving dates. So this whole conversation might be moot
Yeah.
by tomorrow.
By tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, no. And your evening stream tomorrow will be able to address all of that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the giveaway.
There you go.
Yeah, baby.
So,
Okay, so for you, just to get a feel, if nothing else, we could do like noon every day, or like right before you normally start. Or do you not always start your current shows at the same time?
I try to. Sometimes I'm a little bit late to get started, but 9 a.m. for the Twitch stream, 9 a.m. to noon, and then from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. In the afternoon is when I go. And of course, I might be 5 or 10 minutes late. I think this morning I was a little later just because I had stayed up till 5 o'clock doing DeFi Kingdom stuff. I stayed up till 5 o'clock in the morning last night to do DeFi Kingdom stuff. So,
Wow.
just off stream
Hey,
things. But
that's
yeah,
dedication right there,
yeah,
people.
it is. But of course, it caused me to be a little late on my morning stream. But anyway, yes, I do plan to start. However, there is something that we want to be careful of with that, and that is, like you'd mentioned, I do have an alarm set for the official DFK AMA that comes out
Yes.
on whatever date, I guess tomorrow, Thursday, at 1 o'clock. And sometimes they go for an hour, sometimes they go over, but generally right after their AMA is when I'm hopping on, however long they go over. Of course, I don't want to miss their show, so I watch that. And the same thing with you the other day. You were on kind of in the middle of the day, and I ended up hanging out with you and didn't start my show
Okay.
till later. And I'm fine with that.
Hey, and I even had the thought you could go live on both channels
Yeah,
like you
we
did
could do that.
before. You've already done that.
I have done that a couple of
So if
times.
you can do that every single time,
Mm-hmm.
and you could say, I'm signing off on Crypto Grady's channel, but I'm still going live on my channel if you want to hop over.
Yeah, and
You could do that every single time.
that's something too. And that reminds me, I do want to look into. I think YouTube does have a way to like dump our viewers into another channel here on YouTube as well. On Twitch, it's called raiding, when you just raid
Yeah.
another channel. I think YouTube has recently allowed us to do that as well, which means that you could dump into mine. But this reminds me that I would like to not leave our viewers with nothing at 5 p.m. when I shut off. I'm wondering if sometime right around that time, if you could go live at 5 p.m., or I don't mind extending it out a little bit if you'd prefer to do it at 6 or something. And you don't have to do it right after I do. You could do other things and have even a later evening if you want. But if you do go live right when I'm getting off, then I can certainly I certainly would want to pass those viewers on to you and give them something else to watch immediately, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All good things to think about. Yeah. So one option would be like, and I don't care about 5 or 10 minutes late, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
around the same time, at least,
Yeah.
roughly. And that's fine. If it's 9 a.m., that's a good time. In fact, I even had the thought eventually we'll probably want to do 2 a day for 5 to 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
One in the morning, one in the evening, late evening.
Sure.
Like recap.
Like a recap day.
And we're just talking quick news, quick hitters. Like today, Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms is getting Ogre on their channel.
Yeah.
Even that's an announcement, we could make. There's Boxlight Chat's doing this. And hey, there's a new YouTuber guy.
Which one?
He's been going for a couple weeks, and I did post it on the chat earlier. I'll post it again here. And he's big with DFK Helper. So part of what he's doing is just kind of showing how he's making money with DFK Helper.
Are you talking about
the autos,
the Swiss
renting out his summons and different things? And he kind of shows you what he's doing. And he's one to, I think, go, and he only has like 9 or 10 subscribers. And I was like, whoa, this guy. And he's been a buddy of mine for a while, like within different Discord chats. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So
speaking of news and wrap-ups, one of the things that I think we've got a few viewers in right now, and I want to point this out. I got in, so DeFi Kingdoms in their current contests has that 25 stamp pots. I don't know if y'all are interested in that. I'm going to suppose that probably most of you are, to get in that contest. I got into that contest pretty quickly yesterday and noticed that they reset the contest. And a lot of people, like hundreds of people that got in, did not, or they got dropped when they reset this contest. So if you wanted to be in on this contest for 25 stamp pots and you think that you already got in there, you might want to double check again. I've had at least 2 people from my stream this morning thank me for pointing this out, because they had been dropped from that contest because they did get in earlier before it was dropped. So make sure you get back in there and put in your tally for that.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing that up
is you hit the little celebration emoji thing, right?
Right. But
that puts you right in. It's easy. As long as you comment enough within DFK general chat, you'll be the green, whatever member,
Active hero.
and it'll qualify. Yeah, active hero is what they call it. It'll qualify you to enter into those contests every Tuesday night. Is usually when Bolin comes on and makes that announcement.
Yeah.
And I just went in there and did it randomly during your stream
Oh,
because
yeah.
I was looking at Zabu. Zabu had posted something in your chat earlier also about something that Sashi, you know what? And that's what it was. I think Sashi was saying that he thinks, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Zabu, potatoes. I think what he was saying was that he was thinking that summoning event was indeed going to be on Crystalville. Or I'm confused. I read like 50 things, so maybe I'm confusing that thread. He posted a thread that Sashi was saying. Okay.
I do think that it's very likely that the summoning event will be on Crystal Vale. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not guaranteeing that it is. I'm pretty sure that it is.
Yeah. I've got a good feeling we'll know that after tomorrow's AMA.
Awesome.
Because hopefully we're going to be getting, the C Jewel, S Jewel dates, stuff like to prepare for coming soon.
Yeah, indeed.
So, good stuff, man.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's try to plan. Go ahead.
No, I'll just keep thinking of, and you can too, of if you feel like 9 a.m. before you get going on Twitch or maybe or whatever, you could do it real quick and then get started on Twitch or whatever.
I'm having trouble getting my own stream started at 9 a.m. Just because I think I need to start waking up a little earlier to be able to do that. And I don't think waking up an hour or around 8 is giving me enough time to do everything I need to do first. So getting something else or squeezing something else that early might be a little tough. I think I'd be much more open to something either like after my stream is done, like coming in and one of your evening shows a little bit.
Okay, sure.
But maybe later on, once I get myself a little bit more organized in the morning, then I could do a morning type of thing as well.
Sure. Yeah. I think we could make any time work whenever it's convenient.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. And love you, man.
Love you. And one of my plans, I guess, for you is I really would like to kind of solidify with you, if possible, when is going to be a good day to get you started on consistency. And I'd like you to put a little bit of thought into that. I put you on the spot here on stream live.
I'm constantly thinking about it. Yeah.
So,
and this has already helped.
Yeah.
Because I almost went in there this morning and did one real quick just to say, hey, every morning at this time, and what do you guys think? And here's like a 5 to 10 minute video.
Cool.
And kind of get that ball rolling. Yeah.
Yeah. Something else. Here's something else that I think I might be a little bit, I might be able to do a little bit easier. And that is, if you're planning to come on at a certain time and if you do have a guaranteed time that you can be on, if that's sometime during my stream or even at 9 o'clock, right when I'm trying to start, then it might be a little easier for me to, even if I'm already streaming, to be able to connect to your stream, even for 5 minutes, and do a little something with you on that stream right there. If that's what you're looking for.
Sure. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all the better if you can tie it in with your stream at the same time. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm kind of thinking of is if I'm going to be doing this. So already on my morning streams, I go a little bit over a global market and I look at, stock market and gold prices and crypto stuff. And I look at the Discord stuff and go over all of that. And I can shorten it a little bit if we need to do that. for your stream. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if I can hit on those, if I'm already going to be doing it, and if that's what you're looking for, I think that's the content that you're looking for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep. And
You got
then
it.
when
Just kind
I
of quick update for your type of guy
mhm,
that's going to be good for anybody to listen to, but especially your type of guy that doesn't have much time to listen to YouTube videos
right,
all the time.
right,
That, and then if they can do it consistently, that might be just part of their daily ritual.
yeah,
Um, and that's where mornings can be really good.
yes,
Um, oh, and evenings, like as people are winding down, going to bed,
yep.
they listen to a 5 to 10 minute thing.
To do a
Um,
recap or here's what I need to be paying. So the morning is more like here's what I need to be paying attention today, and
mhm.
then the evening is like here's a recap. Yeah, absolutely, those are good
Yeah.
times.
And here's what happened. Any new news, anything that's happening the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, yep,
Yep.
absolutely.
You got it. Okay.
All right, man.
Hey, I love you. Keep going. I'll
I
hop
love you
off.
too, man. Absolutely.
Okay.
Any of
Okay.
y'all feel free to jump on the voice chat at any time, and of course, Grady, you're welcome to jump back in at any time that you want to just have something to say. It's a little bit easier to say with voice. But guess what time it is right now, guys? It is 4:30, and at 4:30 we have the giveaway, the next giveaway, the last one of the day. So let me pull up the Nightbot again and get y'all ready. Let's go ahead and these are the people that have been speaking in the last few minutes. Potatoes, Potatoes, Robin Hood, Sardo Fritz. Looks like Crypto Grady's going to get a name in just a minute. It does take like 30 seconds or something, I guess, before what you say is registered on this little chart here. And then y'all might even be a little bit further behind. Hey, Mystical Meows is in the house also. But yeah, go ahead and say things. We've got Crypto Grady on the list now. We've got Rob Dig Root, Mystical Meow, Sardo Fritz, Robin Hood. I think this is just about everybody who's been listening in chat. Anybody else lurking in the background? We'll give you another like 60 seconds or so to come in. Oh, Aisha's still here. Hey, nice. Well, welcome on in. Cool. And yeah, we'll give y'all a little bit of chance to come in and say hi. And then we will go ahead and spin and do our thing. So, let's see. Anybody else last minute? Potatoes, you can pull my entry and give it to Aisha. Absolutely. If you win, then that'll be it. So here we go. Control C. We'll get these new people in the game yet, won't we? All right, let's go ahead and pull these names. Pull y'all over to here and highlight all that. Oops, we don't need all that. Control V. So those are our names right there. Let's put in a rollover. And if we get a rollover right now, that just means that we're going to roll over until the ticket until tomorrow. So far, Brito, I owe 2 tickets to. And it looks like Brito is not here with us right at the moment, but we will be getting those tickets to him a little bit later. Let's go ahead and take these names and copy them again a couple more times. Paste. So it's a little bit more interesting. And let's roll that wheel here. Good luck. Good luck. Drum roll, please. Who is it? Mystical Meows. Congratulations. I think this might be your second ticket. Isn't that right, Mystical Meows? I think you were saying yesterday that it was the first time that you won. And I got your wallet address from yesterday, so I'll just use your same wallet address. Mystical Meows. Very cool. Congratulations. Awesome. And again, that is the last giveaway that we had for these tickets for today. You'll be getting one of these Play to Earn Reward tickets. Hang on to these until Saturday. And then you'll need a couple of these, either 2 or 3 of these, to get in on the pet drawing on Saturday for the blue pet egg that will be hatching and giving away on Saturday's stream. I don't know exactly what time that's going to be, but that is I'll have a little bit more notice when I think it's going to be in the afternoon stream on Twitch on Saturday. So y'all don't need to be awake too early on Saturday. And I think we have a few more regular viewers here. And also the normal bulk of the DeFi Kingdoms community seems to be more on YouTube than Twitch as well. So it'll probably be here on YouTube sometime between 2 and 4 on, or 2 and 5 on Saturday for that. Anyone who wants to be here.
Yeah, hey, congrats, Mystical Meows. I was also going to say, Aisha, so the whole point of a lot of the point anyways of the reason why we're doing the videos is to help new people get into the game.
That is totally true.
So anyone who's new, if there's anything you need, any questions you have, don't hold back. Because that's our number one goal, is to bring in new users. Because I think Rock's on the same page, is that DeFi Kingdoms currently is one of the best kept secrets in the crypto space, if not maybe the best kept secret. In my mind, it is.
Yeah.
And we don't want to keep it a secret. Like, we want to spread the word.
Absolutely.
And someone new coming in, all the different nuances, different things in the game, that's where this can really help you. But also, even if you have basic questions, don't hold back. I almost came on and said that earlier, even when she said, hey, I'm new.
Yeah, absolutely.
She came on and said, I'm new. And I thought that was awesome. Anyways, absolutely. Okay.
No, yeah.
Love you.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on. So, yeah, that is one thing. I think since we do have one or two somewhat new people here, I do want to mention, I do love questions in the chat room. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I am one of these streamers that really does like to go back and touch base with all of these, everything that's said in chat. So even if I miss it for a little bit, maybe we're sidetracked doing something at the moment and I'm not, fully focused on chat, I will always come back and look over what everyone is saying here. And sometimes I will reply, but sometimes I don't necessarily need to reply. So here, Robinhood, Jade will pump from the start. And I agree with that. And then also, of course, not sure if you went over earlier, but I linked some good info. So all these things I am reading and looking at. And then, of course, some things, of course, I'll chime in on and give you all some good feedback. But absolutely, for any new people or anyone who's around, ask your questions. Even if I don't know the answer, maybe someone else here in chat will know the answer. And then also sometimes I like to help new people. I'll even do demonstrations. Hey, you need to set up a wallet. You need to do something else. Here we can do these things. Or maybe point you to a video or a collection of videos. I do plan to have a collection of shorter videos, more digestible, that do show how to do things. Like buying heroes or other stuff. Unfortunately, some of the things can get a little bit longer. So I'm planning to have a really short video on some basics. And then I'm also planning to have maybe a longer, more polished video, though, not a live stream, of deep dives into some of this. But I think a lot of the live streams that Grady does and some of the ones that I do, sometimes we do get focused on these very detailed scenarios, like pets as an example, or even hero abilities. Grady has some amazing videos about the pet hatching and going into a deep dive into a lot of the things there, or even hero summoning with the special genetics and that kind of stuff. So if you're not watching every single one of Crypto Grady's videos, I would strongly encourage that you do, and even go back into the history back there, because there's lots of good stuff. And of course, there are lots of other streamers out there. They're doing things. Climb Crypto had a really good interview with Ogre maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. I think it's only been a week and a half ago. If y'all didn't catch that, phenomenal video. I just saw that myself, got caught up with that one maybe a day or two ago, but really good. So there's a lot of good opportunities to learn things. And then coming into these live streams, whether it's me or Grady or anybody else, oftentimes we love to help new people and can answer questions one-on-one. If you don't feel like posting a comment at the end of a video, but we answer all of those things too. So yeah, definitely. Big Sweaty D's, yeah, morning is good for the commute. Absolutely. So I think I remember when I was doing sandbox stuff, I would be streaming early in the morning, and there was another streamer that even streamed earlier than I did for sandbox. And I remember waking up early in the morning, and there was a streamer, Game Dizzy and Half Dork were two of the ones on sandbox. And I would say, they loved my videos a little bit later in the day. And I would tell them, I love your videos. I wake up, and as I'm eating breakfast, I am listening to those videos, those live streams that they're doing on Twitch and so on. So absolutely, in the commute, listen to stuff in breakfast, get your, kind of like your morning news. And so I think that could be really good. I'd like to be doing things a little bit more regularly at exactly 9 a.m., but of course, even earlier. Some people, I'm sure, would want some content. Let's see. Can't wait for the day I can play PvP and PvP and listen at the same time. Absolutely, right? So I cannot wait for some like sports casting of this stuff, where we have so much going on with PvP and PvE that whether it's, the people at the Inner Grove or Adventures in DeFi Kingdom or Grady or myself or somebody, going blow by blow as a boxing match, you hear those people land in this corner, coming in at 3 heroes with, pirate, berserker and whatever else. I think would be amazing if we had somebody like that. I don't think I'm the type of person to do that. I don't think I can talk or fast enough or recognize, blow by blow what's going on. Fight Club was pretty fast for me to keep up with. But I think some of those guys who were doing Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms and following along with that did a fantastic job of kind of doing esports caster and just really made watching those games exciting, which I think is really cool. Maybe we'll have a new streamer come in that really can kind of focus on that kind of thing too. Or even if it's just, maybe not even if it's live, but it was recorded, live some other time, might be even fun entertainment to listen to the next day or something like that, right? Let's see. Robin Hood, in the woods, in the words of Frisky Fox, we want this to become a gaming empire blockchain, or a gaming empire of blockchain. Absolutely right. One of the things I remember a long time ago that either Bullen or maybe Frisky Fox, but somebody said is, we didn't come here to take a piece of the pie. We came here to be the main pie. And they weren't trying to be egotistical, and I forget exactly the quote, but they weren't trying to be egotistical about that. But what they were trying to explain there is, we plan to be a force worth reckoning with. And we're going to have some major changes, or we're going to have a major game coming, and I cannot wait for that. And as long as they haven't lost that fire, even though things have been delayed, I think that is going to be really good. Aisha, so welcoming. Yay, I'm glad that you feel welcome here. Feel free to ask any questions. Gaming Empire. Crypto Grady says, love it. Rock 808, favorite tacos. As we start asking anything. AMA, ask me anything. Favorite tacos? I would say, as long as it's got some habaneros on there, which I guess isn't necessarily very common in tacos, although I love habaneros. Soft tacos, I think, going to be one of my favorites, with like a beef, bean, cheese type thing. I've been vegan for a while now, and so my partner has convinced me that this is a good way to live. And actually, I feel really good eating vegan for the last, I think, two years now or so. And so I would have to say there are some amazing vegan tacos out there as well, right? I don't know if y'all do anything like that, but there's a product called Beyond Meat or Beyond Beef or something. Tastes legitimately just like you're eating beef and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. So, but tacos are good. Potatoes, laugh. And Grady, wow. Read Beatles update. Read Beatles update? Oh, Beatles update you're talking about in here? Is there a new announcement? Oh, look at this. There is a new announcement here. Beetle Dude says, everyone, it's mini release day today. That is today. We finally did it as of today with the release of the stylist. Oh, wow. And the profile creation. Crystal Veil parody is now complete. Awesome. But Grady, is that really true? Because now, I mean, I'm glad that we can get our profile pictures and our stuff, but weren't you mentioning just even earlier today that the contests aren't there or aren't back? We're not doing contests yet, right? And maybe contests aren't coming back. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the thing, is they recognize that contests weren't very fair. Maybe that's something also. And you're saying, right? Okay. Let's get new profile pictures to celebrate. Ooh, are we going to get new profile picture? Hang on a second. Hang on right now. Can I come into the stylist? It says no. Is that later today? Let me refresh this page. Do we have it right this minute, or is it going to be a little bit later? Maybe we're not going to get it right this second. Oh, we do. Look at this. Right this second. What is that sound? I've got a fire burning with... Where's that sound coming from? Is that the stylist? Where is that audio coming from? Sounds like a wild boar in a fire. I have no idea what that is, guys. Sounds like some kind of interesting sound effect. Anyway, we can get into the stylist. Changing profile pictures. Oh man, I was thinking, oh, are these new profile pictures? Okay, keep reading, he says. All right, keep reading, Grady says. Don't stop reading. On top of that, we have a few other updates mixed in for good measure. Stylist and profile creation stylist Brina has been sharpening her scissors in preparation for the influx of heroes wandering in from the wilderness and arriving in droves from the docks. Give her a visit to either create your profile if you haven't already, or update your profile picture to reflect the inner you. Remember, you can select any of your owned heroes, that's kind of cool, as a profile picture to follow you through your DFK journey. I love that, by the way. And then also new features. Improved select all functionality for the multi-quest complete screen. Okay, I don't really use that myself because I've got a bot, but that is good. New environmental ambiance. Is that what that is what I'm hearing right now. That is the ambiance. Okay. For Crystal Vale inner zones, make you feel like you're really standing in the docks, feel like you have a breeze at your face. Now that we're in this, we've got this fire pit going. I guess that's the sound for the that we're hearing there. Fun new gardening borders to represent crystal jewel mining heroes. Interesting. And coming up is just a reminder that we're officially moving to a 2-week release schedule as of this week, which is okay. It's not something I'm super excited about, but they have been relentless about those weekly updates, which has been fantastic. So giving them a little bit of a break or allowing them to slow down a little bit is perfectly fine. So the next release will be October 31st. Uh-oh. Here we go. Very spooky, I know. As a quick teaser, here are a few of the features the team is working on now. See Jewel updates. Boom. What do you think about that on October 31st? I think so. I think October 31st. Serendale 2.0 migration. I don't know if that's going to come out in 2 weeks, but it is on the feature list that the team is working on. User interface sounds and menu options. A dark summoner. That's coming up pretty soon. Level 10 profession quests. I think that might be out in 2 weeks. Possibly. A login system for off-chain features. Oh, wow. So if we had a bunch of off-chain stuff happening, that could be kind of cool. And yep, it's a ton of great stuff. Doesn't even represent all the features that are in the works. Of course not. They're always working on a ton of things. I'll keep you posted on upcoming progress in future releases as well. Thanks again for being an awesome community. Godspeed, good questing, purple flames, red hearts, yellow fires, all that kind of good stuff. That sounds amazing. Amazing. So very cool. Very good update. that is exactly the type of news that we want to be on top of. And that is the sound that we're getting there. So select the profile image. I kind of like the one that I have right now, but I'm glad to see that we've got a profile image. And then I'm going to guess if we... I think I have my sound effects off, perhaps, so it's not going to ring the bell or anything like that. But I bet if I go to the docs, yeah, we're going to get some new ambient sounds there. Oh, I like that. I could relax to that right there. Nice. Let's see. The end of the announcement is fire, Grady says. Absolutely. We can now see that some of those things are in the works. So, do y'all want to speculate a little bit? What dates? So if they're going to a release schedule of every 2 weeks, right? If they're going to a release schedule of every 2 weeks, what does that mean for us? Let me open up a 2022 calendar. And then if we look at something like this and this, can I just open that image in a new tab? All right. So here's our 2022 calendar. And if October the 31st, and I know this is blurry, it's blurry for me, I'm sure it's blurry for y'all too. But if we're going to have our next release here on October 31st, and then it's going to be every 2 weeks, and I don't know if it's going to be on a Monday or still every Wednesday or something like that. I think they want to have some good stuff at the end of October, like maybe we had been told, or I had been hearing that the end of October was something. So I think we are going to get some really good stuff here. But then that means that the next time is going to be sometime around November 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere around in there. It's going to be the next time. And then near Thanksgiving week, sometime right around in there, November 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And then the next week after that is going to be, or 2 weeks later, is going to be the first week in December. So what this means by going to a release schedule of every other week, we're going to have 1, and then 2, 3, 4 releases, or the 4th release will be in December there. So do y'all want to speculate a little bit when these are going to be? I want to say maybe we'll put up a maybe we'll, here on my channel, we'll keep track of everybody's ideas and votes, and maybe if someone gets them all right, then we'll present a prize. What do y'all think? If you can put dates, and we know the dates for the releases, or at least we know a little bit about them. October 31st is going to be one. And then I think sometime around the 2nd week in November, 4th week in November, 2nd week in December, right? And I'll come up with a little spreadsheet that has these things. We don't know the exact dates in November or December, but we can kind of say, you know, the first release in November, second release in November, first release in December, second release in December. And if somebody can get all of those right, if they can place, this thing is going to be on October 31st. This one might be in the first release in November. This might be the first release or October 31st again, and so on, right? And then maybe what we'll do is we will do some other giveaway for someone who gets all of those correct as well. How about that? I'm going to speculate. Robin Hood says, peace out. See you later, Robin Hood. Thanks for being here. We've got about 10 more minutes on this stream as well, so you're not going to miss a lot. But here at the last few minutes, let's kind of speculate. I'm going to think that Sea Jewel is going to be out on October 31st. I know some of y'all might not agree. You might want to push it back a little bit. But I'm going to speculate the first thing, Sea Jewel, October 31st. Serendale 2.0 migration, I want to say, might be the second release at the end of November. I think that's probably when we're going to see that. Dark Summoner. They've talked about Dark Summoning for a while now. Maybe... I don't really want to say October 30... Oh! Wouldn't October 31st, Halloween, be the perfect time to have Dark Summoning? I think I'm going to have to say October 31st for Dark Summoner. Level 10 Profession Quests, I'm going to say on that, that could be October 31st, but I think I might say first release in November for that. It could be the other way around. This one, along with Dark Summoning, could be on October 31st, and Sea Jewel updates on the first week in November, possibly, right? But I think we're going to get it sooner. I do think October 31st for that one. And then login system for off-chain features. I guess that could come anytime. I'm going to require that we put dates by all of these. So if I had to put a date by this one, I'm going to say for myself, first week in December or second week in November. I'm putting it back a little ways just because I feel like it's probably not high on their importance list, not high on their priority list. But maybe they've been working on it for a while. Maybe they do have some reason for it, and maybe it's going to be out really soon, right? This is the first I think this is the first I've heard of a login system for off-chain features. Have y'all heard of that before? Let's come in, and while y'all are speculating a little bit and putting in some dates when you think those might get released, in our last few minutes of the stream here, let me catch up and just make sure that I'm caught up with everybody and we've addressed everyone's questions and comments. Can't wait for the contest. Hope they come. Crypto Grady says, absolutely. I think that'll be really cool if we get those back. Let's see. Potato says 2-week update time now. So the next is October 31st. So happy as it gives me more time. I hope to get ready. Yeah. So you know now that Sea Jewel is not coming for at least 2 weeks. So maybe I was a little premature in jumping out of all of those pools, right? Which I did just a few hours ago. Because now I know that besides today, which I don't think we're going to be getting a Sea Jewel anything today, then we know it's going to be at least 2 weeks. Let's see. Ryan says, catching up on 2x speed. But hey-yo, swear every day lately been some kind of news in alpha. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out recently. Absolutely. See, Robin Hood's out. See you later, Robin Hood. Hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you have a good evening. And then Ryan says, hey man, time to start accumulating items since Stone Carver is out getting milk for a week, so to say. Absolutely. So I did stock up a little bit on some stones. If we are going to be doing a summoning sometime soon, if there's a summoning event coming up, guys, then I think we want to be looking at those stones. And I was taking a peek at that a little bit earlier. Let's take a quick look at just DFK lesser might stones, MGHT-ST for an example. Lesser might stones compared with crystal. And here's what I saw. The price has been down, and when I was looking at this not too long ago, maybe earlier today on stream, the price was down here at this point. It looks like some other people have jumped on the bandwagon and decided to buy some stones here more recently as well. I think I ended up buying them right around in here somewhere. So, yeah. Now might be a really good time if you zoom out. stones, even though they're up a little bit right now, are still well below everything they've been since the 17th right here, October 17th, and everything before that is still a higher price for all those stones. Not necessarily for all those stones, but at least for the mite stones. So if we're going to do a bunch of summoning, we might want to start buying some stones while they are low price. That is a good comment to make there. Let's see. Potato says, I agree. C-Jewel will drop first. From what Sashi said in DFK General, I agree. C-Jewel will drop first. Yes. I think that's very probable. And Potato says, oh, imagine dark summoning. Too hyped. Oh, man. All right, guys. So what? Remind me again. Dark summoning. Can I find that on a Medium page? DFK Medium Dark Summoning. Is there a Medium page about dark summoning? Summoning event. DFK summoning amounts is dark summoning event. So I'm not going to read all this right now. We are at the very end of our stream, but I'm going to drop this link into chat. I can't guarantee it's safe, guys. hc.games. I'm not going to guarantee this is something you should trust. So be careful with that link, guys. But it does look legit. Options to spend locked utility tokens. Spend 4 times the cost of the liquid token, right, during this event for dark summoning here. In the event, 75% of the locked balance will be burned, 25% will be redistributed to the community. And I remember reading this a long time ago, but it's been a while. Plus, players will get additional benefits from heroes that have higher rarity or when they have more summons remaining. Users can call upon new heroes with advanced features. This allows users to spend utility tokens to burn 2 heroes. So you are going to have both of those heroes burned. All right? And I don't know. That's not a lot of information right here. Here is another, there's another link. Again, I don't know if I want to get too sidetracked off into the weeds here. And this one's really short. This one doesn't have much to say in it either. So anyway, yeah, definitely want to look a little bit more into dark summoning and see what that's about. Until then, guys, look at what we have got right now. We have got 5 p.m. Time to wrap up stream. Crypto Grady, are you still here? Are you planning to do a stream today? Have you thought about what time you might want to stream? Let's just see if you're still out there and if you've given some thought into streaming today and your time. Yes, he says. Give me a time, Crypto Grady. And it doesn't have to be exact. If you don't, I don't want to put you on the spot. So if you don't have a time, exact time right now, don't worry about it. If you want to have an estimate, I can whenever. I mean, like I said, I don't want to put you on a spot. I'm not suggesting right this minute, although if you want to, you can. I'm going to go grab some food. And if you are going to jump on live, I will be listening to you while I eat my dinner. But if you think that you're going to be on it, you know, in an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, then give us an idea. Give us an idea of when we can expect to see you. And then I will wrap up the stream and we will see y'all tomorrow. All right, thanks a lot, guys, for being here. Really appreciate everyone. Crypto Grady says, yes, probably an hour or so. All right, we will be looking out for you, Crypto Grady, in an hour or so. And thank you for being here, everybody, hanging out with us. Great group of people today. I think we had some really exciting news. We got some exciting updates. I can't wait to poke around a little bit more. Oh, what do we got in here? A little octopus. I don't know if I noticed that octopus in there before. So it looks like we got some new updates, audio. I can finally make new characters. And I tell you what I'm going to do. Now that I can finally create a character on Crystal Vale with a profile, I'm going to make my first short 5 to 10 minute video of bringing in new people. So Aisha, if you're still out there, I'll make a little video on YouTube, or for YouTube specifically, creating your account and getting your profile picture set up, and maybe just poking around the first, few minutes of your life on DeFi Kingdom. So expect that maybe tonight, possibly tomorrow, or probably tomorrow, or sometime over the night. But that's what I'll be working on for the next few hours, is trying to get that going. So anyway, until then, thanks again, everybody. Rock out.